a science to success.
Right,
You know,
right.
and people just don't understand it. They try to skip these steps, and skipping these steps make you lose something, and you don't understand what it, you know, like how you did it. But with us, we was understanding actually what we was doing. That's why people was like, how y'all keep doing it is because it's a science, and we just keep
had a formula,
Yeah,
right,
we had a
right,
formula.
right.
We just keep sticking with it.
Yes, indeed. Only in New Orleans, baby. It's your boy Wild Wayne. They go Trombone Shorty. Big Ward Weebie and New Weebie.
Come on, drop it, how you feeling? Work it, how you feeling? Come on, work it, how you feeling? Let's go, 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 let's go. Come on, drop it, how you feeling? Work it, how you feeling? Come on, I want you twerk it, how you feeling? Let me see you
The good time and prosperity and longevity.
What y'all drinking?
All of that
2020
good
vision.
stuff.
Why
Yeah.
is yours so light?
Because I
drinking
added
that
some of this
ginger.
good
He added
ginger
ginger.
beer.
Okay.
A little ginger beer to
Oh, you
my
know?
cognac.
And I'm just shooting.
You know, we eating and drinking here. That's what we do.
Yeah, we're about to kick off the Wild Wayne Unchained podcast. First, we're going to shout out Martell, send us some libations. Additionally, we're going to shout out Crazy Waffle Bar.
That's right.
Man, send us all kind of great vittles. We got some chicken and waffles. We got some cream cheese infused with Jack honey waffles, some beignet waffles. We got all of the goods. And we did that because we got some special guests in the building.
Yes.
None other than partners in crime.
PNC in the building, baby.
Kango and Mina.
Back to back.
Yeah. Back to back.
Ain't too
And
many people
this
get
is
a
part
back to
two.
back.
This is part two. We kick it off part two. Because we could not, in any far stretch of the imagination, put everything in part one.
Right.
Like, at first I was like, oh, we can talk about a lot of things in part one. But the story is so full and rich, and there's a lot of things I didn't know. And we just got a little portion of it in part one. So big shout out to all our subscribers, all the folks that listen all across the country, all across the world, because we got hits in other countries. You know, we get the little geographics on it.
Yes. We international.
Yeah, we international players with this.
That's right.
But I'm Wild Wayne.
I'm Charlie P. Hustle. Got you.
There
I'm
it is.
Sean Roy, your man from Shrewsbury. You know.
Charlie P. Hustle.
You went back to the old school Charlie P. Hustle.
Well, you know, I did that because you know, Partners in Crime has such a rich history. You know, I just want to throw some of my history in there. You know, that's all.
Okay.
You know? But I will tell you this about the first podcast that we had with these guys. They were very forthcoming.
Yeah.
They were very honest. They were very upfront.
Right.
You know, and I was getting a lot of phone calls, getting a lot of text messages. People saying, man, I didn't know that.
Right.
Man, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
You bullshit, man. They really did. Walter Mama showed up at the show.
Right.
That was crazy.
You mean to tell me Mina said, I ain't going back to Baton Rouge. I'm coming to New Orleans. I said, man, look, let me tell y'all something. What those guys are telling y'all the truth.
Right.
We got to control the narrative.
Right,
If someone else was telling this story, you guys wouldn't get that in depth. You wouldn't get that deep with them. They may scratch the surface and tell you what they want to know, but here,
They'll put it
it's
all
all
over the
gloves
place.
off, man.
And you know what? I obviously, we've been running together for many years since you first started. Obviously,
right.
But in preparing yourself to do these podcasts, you watch videos, you read some different articles, because you never know, somebody might have a little nugget that you didn't know about.
Right.
I don't think y'all was as forthcoming with any of those other interviews as that part one. Lord.
I guess it's the atmosphere, and then that's
about
why I
who
love
asking
your
the questions,
podcast so
right.
much,
It's about who
because
asking.
it's mainly like we're just having a conversation,
Right,
just chilling.
right,
Right.
right.
You know? A lot of other things are actually scripted. You know, a lot of people, they come to us and they say, okay, I want to ask you this question.
Question
I want to ask
one.
you that.
Question two.
It's
Question
like,
three.
Yeah. So when you asking those questions, something is going to get left out in between,
right.
of why.
Uh-huh.
How did I get to that part in my life?
Right.
You know, you're just asking about that part and what did I do, and you know what
Being
was
so
going
general,
on at that
right.
time. Yeah, just being general.
But that's why we called it Unchained. There's no notes. I mean, if you look at whenever you guys who out there in the listening world actually get to look at some clips, there's no laptops.
Script, yeah,
there's
none
no
of it's scripted.
script.
None of
And
this is
you know,
none of that.
I get away from that because, you know, I have a my hard drive remembers a lot of things.
Right.
And I think the essence of a great conversation is that it's not scripted.
Right.
And you never really know where it's gonna go.
Right.
And I think that's what happened in part 1. So I was excited to get more history about partners in crime. There was a lot of lessons. And we've interviewed a number of times before, but,
but
number
that was
one,
really,
we
really,
fit in.
it was on.
Right.
And I can't wait to get more, so let's go ahead and get this thing started.
Let's get it.
I was listening to the podcast, and you know what kept sticking out in my head? I went back and I listened to the song. And you guys actually say, upper level, take 4.
Right.
Now you know how it go.
Right.
What is upper level?
Upper Level was the label that we were gonna be on after we left Big Boy Records.
Not upper level, take 4.
No,
Yeah, that's what it says.
See,
song.
listen.
On
We
the
say
song
it
it
say upper
says-
level take 4 because Jubilee was on the song. So upper
Upper
level was Sice label.
Precise's label.
And that's who we was gonna do a deal with.
When we left Big
Sice.
Boy Records, we were gonna do a deal with Precise on his label called Upper Level Records. So he was gonna have us and the Ghetto Twins.
Okay.
And he
And
was
Mystical at the
doing
time.
his deal that he had, the way his deal was structured, he was coming up on the Rap-A-Lot.
It was a joint venture.
It was a joint venture with Rap-A-Lot. So that album was actually going to be put out through Upper Level Rap-A-Lot.
Okay.
So when we did the contract with Sice went to Rap-A-Lot. You know, we told him we wanted a certain amount of money. We didn't get that amount. We only got a,
So
a
did y'all go
portion
to the
of it.
ranch and
Yeah, we went to the
went to
ranch.
the
I'm gonna tell you
ranch
something
and
about
everything,
this.
took
the
that ride.
commune
We
and
took
all
that
of that?
ride. Yeah, we took that ride.
Jay Prince.
How was that?
It was awesome, bro. Jay Prince was one of the realest dudes I could ever say I ever met.
Was it inspiring?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very inspiring. He was very, very honest with us.
Okay.
You know, forthcoming about everything, how he felt about our music.
Right.
the
What
whole
did he
nine,
say?
How he felt about us as men, how he felt about us as business. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And his words was, I love y'all. You know what I mean? I love y'all partners in crime. I like the music y'all make.
If
know
you
what I'm saying?
checked out his book that he put out, you know,
Respect.
He
It's a great book.
Yeah, he spoke about us being a part of his, the artists that he dealt with, and I thought I was honored because we wasn't actually signed to Rap-A-Lot, but just the business we done with Rap-A-Lot, he respected us enough to even mention our name as being artists that was under his label. So I totally respect that because we do have a project that's under Rap-A-Lot too, but we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Okay, so that was supposed to be with Sice, Upper Level,
Level.
Rap-A-Lot.
Right.
And that song that y'all put out during that time was,
New Orleans
Ain't no
Block
block
Party.
party.
which was a huge
Which a
record.
huge hit, yeah.
Which is still
One of my
a huge
favorite
record.
songs, right? One of my favorite.
Like,
Yep.
people still love that record.
Right. And the thing
How
about
many
that
years
is,
ago was that?
About
That was
20.
97. It was 97. We dropped it.
So that's
22.
22 years
22
ago.
years.
It's funny.
Mike Dean, who did it? Mike Dean or Precise or what?
Well, no, Precise did it.
Precise did that album.
album.
And Mike Dean did the album we did when we was with
Juve.
Rap-A-Lot.
Okay.
With Juvenile,
Juve.
but that's later on
Later
in our
on.
career. Yeah.
It's funny. I didn't think you guys would have a favorite song.
Yeah, I have a few of them.
Yeah.
I like some songs, Partners of Crime, maybe. Some of them.
I
like some stuff that
I like
never
them
even
all.
made it to
yeah,
getting put out. Like,
Right.
it's just, I like some stuff,
So
But
what
the
you saying?
The catchphrase in that song was the "Giving Me Love."
Right.
Yeah, at the end of New Orleans Block Party, she's giving me
Giving
love.
me love.
Oh, love.
Okay.
She's giving me love.
Come on.
Oh, love. Yeah, you know what I mean?
When I-
So,
And some people have taken that part of the song and like made a new song out of it.
I mean, even Frank Ocean used to open
Yeah,
the
he
show with
opened the
it.
show with it.
You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't know where it came from, but yes, it's Partners in Crime.
And you know what was interesting? That part of the song was like about your mom.
Yeah, about my mom. She's Giving Me Love originally was thought of as being like this song with a choir where, when I sing, she's giving me love in the morning, oh love, love at night. She's giving me love in the evening. She's struggling and fight. You know what I mean? It was thought of to be a song like that. But during the time...
It should still be.
Yeah, it should still be.
Right.
But
Man!
during the time when we made the song, we didn't have the resources to pull the choir in.
Right.
So we did it in a way that we feel like
Yeah,
still
integrated
could've got
it
across.
into that
Yeah,
song.
integrated into that song. And plus,
It was just dope, man. It was
Yeah.
a dope
It's
concept.
still dope.
Yeah,
but then
just
it was
changed.
during the era as to whereas
We can do it right here at Bump Jump Studios.
Right.
We can record it here.
Right.
Trombone Shorty playing behind it.
Right.
C Smith on the track.
Right. But it actually, which is about.
I'm getting off track. Sorry.
All right. Yeah.
Reel me in.
Even though we did that song, I know you remember when we used to be in the underground.
Yeah.
And I think his name was Thaddeus. That went to Kennedy.
Yeah,
He used to be scratching on his ass and sitting in the park waiting for you.
Mm-hmm. He did.
Song.
He did the singing, the beat,
the
scratches,
and they used to have
the
one man
Browns
band.
beat. They used to have the Browns beat playing behind him, right? But this was way before, our music era came about because I wasn't even on Wax back then, right?
Right.
But I used to listen to it and be like, God damn, man, he's singing all these greatest songs off of this Brown beat and Trigger Man, but nobody wanted to sing. Everybody wanted to be a rapper.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So when I did do the songs, he was encouraging me to sing them over the bounce beats, and he like, man, you think that shit, it sound good. You think it don't, I'm telling you, it sound good.
Right.
So when we did implement that in with the bounce music, it created a whole new genre of R&B bounce.
See,
know,
bro,
rhythm and
y'all
bounce.
don't understand the therapy that went through with
You
Kango
didn't have
to-
nobody else that was singing over
Listen.
the bounce beats like that before that time.
For
you know?
Kango to do what he was doing, bro, I'm telling you, we used to have tea with honey and
Yeah.
get his throat right.
I was about to ask that.
We used to go through some things to get them
I was about to ask that. What is a creative session like with Partners in Crime?
It's very, very creative. It's very,
conversation.
Very
It's a lot of conversation, like-
Conversation and mental thinking.
Right.
Because everything that we do from, even us knowing in our past, we knew that we had the power of the tongue. So everything that we did from that point on, we had to think about it. And,
Do you guys take separate roads in your creative process? Do you say, well, I'm going to handle this part, and Mike say, I'm going to handle this part?
well, no, basically it
Mina
comes
say,
up
I'm
as
going to
a
handle this
vibe.
part?
This is how it goes. If we're in the studio, if we don't come, sometimes we'll come there with a vibe already. Like with the hook already, we want, what we want to say or whatever. And then we'll build a beat around that. But a lot of times, we just actually going in the studio with our drink, just chilling, saying, man, if I had a girl, I'd do this, or I'd make a
it's
song this way.
conversation, right.
And
Yeah,
he'll be like,
conversation.
okay, well, think about this. Think about your girl going out and cheating on you, but coming back home, you know what I mean, because of this or whatever. So we take concepts,
Right.
and then we'll
build
say, you know
songs
what,
around
that's
it, right.
fire, like, because that's reality.
Yeah,
Right.
what
Like,
people
you know what I
can
mean?
relate-
That
yeah,
is-
what they can relate to, right?
And I think that's really the essence of really great music. I mean, it's cool to talk about the cars or whatever, with the money, but like those things are faddish,
Right.
The songs that stand the test of time are real life stuff, and stuff that piques your emotion, in one way or another,
Things that people can really relate to that they go through in their own lives. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what make a difference.
So y'all did. I'm still trying to stay on the timeline. So what happened after the upper level take four? Rap a lot.
After the
After the
And y'all-
rapper lot thing didn't go through, we was already doing business with Rob Shaw. Rob Shaw was the guy, like we told you.
He was half of Big Boy, right?
doing the Big Boy thing.
Uh-huh.
He was the one that was taking us on the road, and he offered us the opportunity to almost be a partner.
with him and SouthCoast.
With him at SouthCoast. So he was kind of giving us our executive
So
experience.
he already had SouthCoast?
Well,
No.
he started SouthCoast when he left
after
Big Boy.
Big Boy.
But once he left,
Sice started Upper Level, and then Rob had the idea to start
SouthCoast.
SouthCoast. But Sice had his thing going before the SouthCoast thing.
Right.
So during that time, while we were still trying to work the deal out with Sice and the Upper Level thing, Rob was trying to do. He was getting
SouthCoast.
SouthCoast off the ground. So when we didn't do the Upper Level thing, Rob was like, okay, since y'all not doing that with him, I want to offer y'all to come in with me to executive
Listen,
produce these
you
albums.
got to understand this.
So you get
know,
your EP?
I'm gonna go back a little bit.
Okay.
When you making a decision on, it's almost like Kanye did with, I guess with when he did the thing with Dame and Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? When it came down to it, it was like when we had to make a decision, where we want to go. We want to go somewhere that we made the magic with, and the person that we made the magic with was actually Sice. He was the producer, we was the artist.
Right.
So we felt like if we're gonna go somewhere, let's go where
the
the
production.
chemistry, the production, you know what I'm saying. But when the deal didn't go down, and Sice, Rob understood that. He understood, like, you know, our whole mind frame on our decision on what we was doing. It wasn't like we was being unloyal with anyone. We were just going what we thought would be best for us. Yeah, what we thought would be best for us. So, you know, when Rob said he wanted to do the SouthCoast thing, he was like, let's do it. He was like, you know, I want y'all to come in as like my business partners, you know what I'm saying? Because we started just from ground up with no artists. The only artist was Partners in Crime.
Yeah.
So we had to go out and get production, artists, the whole nine.
So who did y'all use for production since Precise was still on the upper level?
We went and got full pack.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you went and got
Legendary.
Fez.
So we got full
Don
pack.
Juan.
So we was using
Fez.
full pack around that time. I think we did a little Sinister.
Okay.
Around that time.
We was kind of working with,
songs.
but we was already working with Full Pack
Right.
in the mix of when we met Sinister.
When we met Sinister,
and then
yeah.
we just started working with Sinister as well as C Smith, artists like that. We started working with them in the mix of working with Full Pack first.
Right.
It's cool. It's cool that you guys are keeping it in New Orleans.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
you all were hot.
Yeah,
you could have went out and got producers from anywhere.
We had a lot of people
but
that
you
was
kept it
interested in
homegrown.
We wanted
and
the
the thing
sound.
about it is, we went and got Full Pack because we knew that Full Pack was able to provide a certain sound,
That funk.
and that sound that we were looking for.
That we were used
And
to.
when we first started SouthCoast, of course we were gonna drop the New Orleans Block Party with Precise, right? So we just took that song and said, no, we're gonna drop it on SouthCoast, but we never changed the Upper Level Take 4 because we had recorded it already.
Yeah, it sounded good. We just rolled
Yeah, it
with
sounded good, so we just rolled with it. Plus, we didn't mind putting the Upper Level in there because Sice was still doing his thing with Rap a Lot, with the Ghetto Twins with Upper Level.
Right.
So it wasn't no hard feelings as to where Sice felt like, okay, y'all not with me, take my name.
No,
He was like,
Sice gave us his best wishes.
he
Like
gave us
once
his
we
best
didn't
wishes.
decide
he
to go
produced
that
the
route,
track.
he was
He
like,
even told us take it. I mean,
do
he
what
had a
y'all
right
do.
to say, well, no, I produced this with y'all. I don't want y'all to take it. We got to come to some type of agreement.
Right.
But Sice
He
was
just
like,
said,
no,
go ahead,
man,
do y'all thing.
y'all do y'all thing.
I'm
Best
going to
wishes,
throw
you
this
know?
out in the atmosphere right now. In season 3, we are going to do a podcast with Full Pack. Because I think it's
must.
really important for people to know their contributions to the New Orleans music scene.
yeah, them dudes
I have
are
mad
legends.
respect for Fess and Don Juan. I'm just putting that out there because sometimes if you don't say these things, they don't happen.
they don't
I'm putting
happen. Right, you gotta speak it out. Put
I
it
want
out
this to
there.
manifest for season 3. We have Full Pack because I know the other bad thing, I know Fess has had some health issues.
Yeah, right.
And I want to make sure, you know,
Right.
we
Capture
get
their
that
story.
story
Right.
from him
You should.
authentically.
You
right?
should.
give him his flowers while she's still
look,
alive.
when we did the SouthCoast thing, remember, Rob, we didn't have any artists. All we had was Partners in Crime.
Right.
So we put out the Partners in Crime album. Then we figured, how could we
They're going to come running.
Maximize.
Well, how could we maximize the label
Right.
so that we can look like we have a camp?
So what did you do?
So what we did was we took our friends. We also took Primetime. Remember, Primetime was a part of Partners in Crime.
Right.
Made
We
him a
brought
solo artist.
Primetime back into the mix
a solo
and
artist.
made him a solo artist.
That's where we got Red Hot Pepper Boy.
No, that's what
No.
we got. Tell me why.
Tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me why.
Yeah, all right.
See,
Let me
Prime,
get into
Prime,
this
Prime,
one.
Prime,
Okay.
Prime stayed going to jail.
Right.
So as he go to jail, we have to finish the album off.
Yeah.
He started, y'all finished.
He'll
He'll
start,
but we have to
finished,
finish it.
and then when he came home, within that little period of time when
Put a
he
little
was in there,
polishing on it.
he put a little polishing on it. But the thing about it was we knew the single had to be Partners in Crime was the whole drive of everything.
Right.
So we had to give him another Partners in Crime single, but we couldn't come right back to back with another Partners in Crime album.
So Tell Me Why was the big record.
Tell me why it was a big record, but Primetime
So-
wasn't on it.
So how did that happen? Because he was in
Because
jail.
he was in jail.
So how did y'all work? How'd y'all get with Miss T on that record?
Listen,
Because she was with Cash Money.
She had went with. She was with Untouchable at the time.
She had just left
she
She
Cash
was
had
with
Money.
left.
Untouchable. Now listen, Miss T was
Getting deep now.
Miss T was in retirement at this time because
Retirement.
because she
She
was
was
like
23.
She was
just
she's a female.
discouraged.
She's
She
a
was
female
discouraged in
artist.
music, you know?
She was going through a struggle as a, it's hard for females pretty much in the hip hop world.
Cash Money had kind of kept
Yeah,
going
yeah,
and not
yeah.
really
Without,
gave her no
without her,
shine.
yeah,
Right,
without
right.
her. So she went to Untouchable. She did some things with Untouchable that wasn't working.
Who was it? Al Rock?
Yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
Al Rock.
So that wasn't working for her. So she was like, I'm not doing music no more. So I'm in a firecracker building out there in Slidell. And cause Kango had came up with Tell Me Why, he wrote the whole song, right?
Okay.
And I was like, we had tried some other females singing it, and I was like, listen, bro, we need We need the female version of what you do.
Oh, okay.
The female version of what you do is Miss T. I said I have to go get her. So we had a concert out there, and all of us was in the building. And I'm talking to Miss T. She was like, I don't want to mess with no music. I'm like, Miss T,
You gotta do
if you do this song, I promise you, just do this one song. I promise it changed the whole thing. So I had to convince her.
Twelly, come on, Twelly.
I begged her.
She came, did
I
it.
begged her. She came, did it. Smash hit.
Yeah.
And we wound up
So we dropped that Primetime album, but
without
people didn't
Primetime.
well, no, Primetime was actually on the whole album,
But not that record.
but not
Not
the
that
single.
record, right.
You know what I mean? The single had to be Partners in Crime because we were the
drive,
drive of the
driving,
label.
right.
People wanted to hear the Partners in Crime sound, so we had to figure out how could we continue to give them the Partners in Crime sound and not
Put out a whole album
overwhelm
out.
them with Partners in Crime, because you know how most artists, they'll drop 2 albums a year, 3 albums a year. We never wanted that because we didn't want to wear ourselves out, because all we are is Partners in Crime.
Right.
So if we keep dropping things under Partners in Crime, people eventually are
get-
going to be
yeah,
like,
gonna
oh
get-
shit, I'm
they
getting tired of
it,
them.
right.
So the way we did that was we gave everybody Partners in Crime through other artists. So we dropped New
Features.
Orleans Block Party, which was a hot ass song.
Yeah.
How do we piggyback our artists off of that? We dropped Tell Me Why with Miss T, but we say Primetime. So it was on Primetime. Everybody had to go buy a Primetime album to get that
song.
Right.
So we made and created an artist that made people say, "Oh, I love that song. What is that? Tell Me Why. That's on Primetime album."
Yeah,
That's
they was
the new
confused for
Primetime."
a minute. Right.
But they're not realizing, it's Primetime. Y'all love Primetime, but it's actually just Partners in Crime and Miss T on the song.
And y'all had learned quite a bit from Big Boy.
From the Big
on
Boy.
How to
How to
push
keep
these
moving.
albums
Right,
out
yeah,
and keep
right,
it going.
right. Yeah,
so
we
now,
understood.
we have New Orleans Block Party, which is a huge success.
Yeah.
We have Tell Me Why,
Correct.
which is a huge fucking success. What's the next thing after that? We looked at our friend Dejon, which y'all know Dejon,
Yeah.
and said he wanted to rap with 2 of our other friends.
Yeah, Drama
And we
Squad.
said, you know what? Y'all a Drama Squad. So they got in the studio, they worked on their album, and when they worked on the album, they didn't have a single. So me and Mina looked at each other and said, let's do the single. No, which actually was Pepper Boy.
Pepper Boy.
Well, I mean,
Pepper Boy that was on there. Right.
Drop it like it's hot.
Now that was another occasion where it was Partners in Crime, but
And
you
nobody
featured
else.
it on.
But it featured
It was on Drama, it was
on
a
another
Drama Squad
album.
album. So when you said Pepper Boy, that's why a lot of people say Drama Squad, that Pepper Boy, that was rolling. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the Drama Squad album. The Pepper Boy was rolling, but it actually was, once again,
Partners in
in
Crime.
Crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
We
science.
seen the
I
maturation.
used to be like, play Partners in Crime.
Right.
Right. Pepper Boy.
Right.
We seen the maturation of just artists into executive.
Y'all was
Right.
slick.
Yeah, we was executives
Y'all was
at
so
this time.
slick.
Right.
I mean, we was
slick.
trying to make business work. Like, you know.
You picked this up from Big Boy, but
Yeah.
you got to attribute some of this to Rob Shaw.
Yeah,
a
Rob
lot
Shaw.
of it go to Rob
A lot
Shaw
of it.
because Rob Shaw trusted us enough to know that we can do
Our
what we
whole
do.
career goes to Rob Shaw,
Yeah,
and I can tell you that
Rob gave us a
honestly.
big-
Rob gave us game from the time we came into Big Boy Records.
Right.
When everybody else was like, okay, they doing bounce music, and these guys was over here doing hardcore West Coast type
Right.
vibes, and they was going to Cali and all of this. Rob said, you know what? Y'all come with me. We're gonna hop in the back of this Benz, and we drove
with the springs
with the
popping
spring
out the
popping
seat.
out the seat, and we drove through all of these back town,
Chitlin.
back
The Chitlin
town,
circuit.
the Chitlin
Chitlin
circuit,
circuit,
Right.
And he brought us to these clubs, introduced us, gave us the music to the people, let them know who we was. These are guys, Partners in Crime, and we wound up going back there to do paid shows. We kept doing that. So Rob Shaw always did instill in us the business.
What was some of them cities
Side of
like
things.
like Jackson, Mississippi? I'm sure.
Yeah, we
Oh
did.
yeah,
We did.
Jackson,
Little Rock,
we was
maybe.
all in there. Little Rock,
Gulf
Little
Coast.
Rock,
St. Louis and everything.
It was a whole southern region. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Pretty much is what he took us throughout because he had a lot of connections. Rob Shaw was the owner of Club Sensations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Plus he played football.
Right.
You know what I mean? Played big football, almost had a pro career
Right,
before,
So,
he
yeah,
did
he
all
knew-
that.
he
So
knew a lot of
of
places,
people.
right.
So he took us along that whole circuit and just gave us the game about everything. He taught us about management. He taught us about going into these places and meeting with these people. how
What
to
would
do
you
deals
tell young artists about the performing at these smaller clubs to really proliferate their career?
The smaller
a lot of times they just want to stay right here and not understand you can build a fan base elsewhere and here at the same time.
Right. I feel like the smaller clubs appreciate you more, especially when you go into these towns, because what you have to realize is everywhere there's a big city, right? So when you go into these little country towns in Meridian and all these Mississippi towns, they all talk about the big city. What's going down in New Orleans, or what's going down in Atlanta, or whatever your in-between spot is the big city. That's the big city. So when you think of, Thibodeau, Baton Rouge, and all of these other places, those people in those areas, the city has big influence in those areas. When they say New Orleans, this is how they do it in New Orleans, they want to get down with that. So when you go to these areas, these people are not used to seeing people come to the city. They embrace you. They embrace you. You know what I mean? They know, this city here, everybody love these dudes in the city. They are somebody. So when you go to these country areas and you perform in these places, these are more intimate spots than just performing in a big nightclub with 1,000 people or 500 people. You're going into this place and performing for these 150 people who...
But it goes back to what he's saying is, it starts with a nucleus. Right. And a nucleus is getting a fan base from where you're at, because it's hard to go somewhere else when nobody knows you in that other spot. Right. A lot of artists try to skip
steps.
Yeah, skip steps. They don't want to build somewhere and they just want to get to other places, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you got to build a nucleus, and then once you build that nucleus, it makes it easier to spread from that point on.
And it's sort of like, it's the same thing. I mean, in 90-something, you guys were screaming our name on the radio, Partners in Crime, Partners in Crime. These people in these areas still hear it because the station could reach out there.
Right.
So they never saw us before, but they keep hearing everybody talk about Partners in Crime, and they're listening to the music. But when we hit that town, I tell you, the whole dang town was in the building. You know what I mean? Right. And they weren't just regular fans. Mm-hmm. They were fans that...
Fanatics.
I mean, fanatics, like, Lord, he's here.
Yeah.
How could I get...
You become bigger. You become bigger.
Yeah. That's the relationship we built with you guys. I mean, if I can jog your memory a little bit, we were Wolfpack Entertainment.
Right.
We know Wolfpack,
man.
Wolfpack. We have a podcast now, but one day we going to sit down and put all that on. We're going to put it out.
Your wives wouldn't have wanted y'all with that Wolfpack. They wouldn't have wanted y'all. Wolfpack. Them girls wouldn't have wanted y'all with that Wolfpack, bro. You think about it,
I didn't even tell you.
I love you, baby. But we built a relationship with Rob by putting on these shows and having you guys come out. And we would show up, and they would be at the door in these small country towns. They would be at the door. They would be lined up. 9 o'clock. Club doesn't open till 10. They're lined up. We still trying to get the money straight. Trying to get Wayne was a draw. So you hear Wild Wayne on the radio talking about Partners in Crime. Gonna be there next Wednesday, Thursday, whenever it's gonna be.
Yeah, they coming out.
An excitement. It's an excitement. So it was a total draw. Right. So what you guys are saying is 100% true. I would sit back and just be like, man, check this shit out.
Right. It was some work, bro.
It's a science to success,
it was some work,
man. It's a science to success.
Right.
And people just don't understand it. They try to skip these steps, and skipping these steps make you lose something, and you don't understand what it, how you did it. But with us, we was understanding actually what we was doing. That's why people was like, how y'all keep doing it is because it's a science, and we just keep.
You had a formula.
Yeah, we had a formula. We just keep sticking with it.
So speaking of doing it, we have SouthCoast. We came out with Prime,
the drama
then we came
squad.
with the Drama Squad.
When did Ward Weebie come?
That's what I was getting at.
I went to Whispers. I went to Whispers.
Club Whispers was probably the most phenomenal club in New Orleans history. I'm gonna just put that out there.
I'm going as far as saying the South.
The stories, I could tell.
Right.
We
was in Whispers. I hear a Weebie song. Your pussy smell like onions. Oh yes, I'm talking to you, right? I'm like,
I'm talking to you.
So I tell
but at that time, that was it. So it was just he was saying that, and
it was a lot of chants in the song, right?
Because he was a dancer.
Yeah. So it was a lot of chants, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, she wasn't my wife yet, but she was
your
dating.
girl.
Yeah, it was my girl at the time. So I'm telling my girl at the time, which is my wife, and I'm saying, look, I say, man, that little dude is a star. I said, but he's giving away too much. I'm like,
We had this conversation.
I'm like, he giving away
He
too
had
much.
like 5
I'm like, he got
songs in one.
5 songs in one.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm gonna meet him, and I called Weebie in Whispers, and I said, look, bro, I want to work with you. He was like, for real? Like, I'm like, yeah. He was with Mobile Joe at the time. I don't know how that went. I guess it wasn't
Mobile
going
Joe.
really all the way right for him at the time, or he felt like, or whatever. So I brought him to SouthCoast.
Big Kenneth and Joe.
Right.
And Mobile
Yeah,
Joe.
Mobile Joe.
Rest
Right,
in
Joe.
peace to Big Kenneth.
Right. So they, we bring Weebie over, and we just start working with him, and
He had the song. He had a chant where he used to say, "Fifth wall Weebie got them hoes off the easy.
Turn
Fifth
around,
wall
touch the
Weebie got
ground.
to bend it over easy. Fifth wall Weebie got
Okay.
to take him out the easy." But he used to keep saying that one
Right.
thing. So instead of us making a song of that, we made him start his verse off with that because people was familiar with it.
He had a little dance move
yeah,
with
he had
it too,
to
right?
do the fifth wall. hustle.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But that's when we produced. That's when Full Pack did "I Really Want You."
He didn't even want to do
That record was.
He didn't even want to do. Listen, this dude told me. Look, we had a group called Endow. Endow was
That
singing.
was your group?
Yeah, that was
she
a group that was on
signed to
SouthCoast.
That was the hook. They did the hook
Yeah, they
on
did
I
the
Really
hook.
Want You.
Yeah,
they
so
did the
I'm
hook.
telling him like, this the song. You need to do this. He was like, man, I don't really like that.
So that was their song at first?
No, it was just we wanted them to sing.
It was actually
Gonna be a part of the
song
crime.
it was gonna be a part of the crime song.
I Really Want
So,
You?
Yeah.
I wrote the hook.
Yeah.
So I
I
told
never
He
knew
wrote the hook. Endow sung it.
I wrote the hook and Dow sung it. So
Okay.
that was actually going to be a Partners in Crime song. So we told Weebie, now instead of us doing it, once again, we can't keep dropping Partners in Crime songs.
Right.
We had to put Weebie on it, but Weebie was able to stand his ground on the beat. You know what I mean?
He didn't want to do it though.
We didn't want
I
to.
begged him to do that song.
Was that? Why was it not his?
No, he just felt
Was it
like
not his style,
he was
or-
like a
He was
chant
more of a
rapper.
chant
He was
rapper.
a chant rapper. So
And he was just rapping over
we was,
Sugar
put-
Man.
we was putting
He
something
had-
in song mode for him.
He
and it
hadn't
was
honed
different.
his skills yet.
No.
Yeah, not
we
yet.
put songs in song
Song
mode. So
mode.
we had a hook, we had a verse, and then we had a bridge,
and then the
we
chorus.
had the. That's why you get the. Can't go. What you tell him? Tell me when you're ready to go.
That's the
Baby,
bridge.
you can leave with me.
You can creep with
Yeah,
me.
we had a format of hook, bridge, hook, verse, bridge.
Right.
Of like that. You know.
What?
That song changed his career.
Nah.
Right. He
Because
knows.
that song's still dope
Yes.
today.
Right,
Yes.
it's a classic. Right, it's a
See,
classic.
I'm not musically inclined. I can't rap. I can't sing. I can't do none of that. That's not what I do. But you guys are actually building songs. But you guys are building songs in your head for other people to perform.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once we see what they can do, then we feel like you make a good fit for
So
this
you're
song.
thinking for them.
No, you know what? A lot of writers, really good writers, they can kind of put
Foresee,
themselves into
Within that person's
other
position.
person because
And that-
they know what they rap about. They know
So
their
basically-
style. Their
Now we didn't
delivery.
write Weebie's verse.
He wrote his own
He wrote
verse,
his own
but we
verse.
structured everything.
But
and
you
told
set
him
it
what
up.
to
I
do.
mean, you basically teed it up, and he hit it out the park.
we
Yeah,
didn't
it's
write
just
his
like to
verse,
take it to the hole with his song. We structured the song and we came up with the concept and everything, but Weebie actually wrote his own verse.
Right.
You know what I mean? To the take it to the hole and all of that. You know?
Named his album the whole nine.
Yeah, we
right.
named the album, took the album cover, which
no
was
clue.
a good
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So when we dropped Fifth Wall Weebie, we actually dropped Miss T album during that same time.
What
Don't
album
get
was
mad.
that?
Don't get mad. Get
Don't
even.
get mad, get
Come
even,
on.
and that's what fucked them
And
other
it
hoes.
was
on.
about her attitude. It was about where she was at.
A lot of people
That's
don't
what we
know
was
where that
telling her.
song came
Don't get
from.
mad. Get even.
So they was
this-
like, where did fuck them other hoes come from? That was on the album we dropped with Miss T. Don't get mad to fuck them other hoes, cause I'm down for my hoes.
Yeah, she had
Fuck
took
them
the-
other- Now if you from that third wall, say fuck a hoe. Fuck a hoe.
So
Yeah.
So y'all done went from Big Boy to South Coast.
Yeah.
Right.
And y'all dropping 2 artists now at the same time.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
was driving
back-
them
yeah.
off. Shit, we was driving them back to back.
Yeah, back to back. We was trying to do the No Limit, man.
Because-
we was trying to do the
Yeah.
No
Like-
Limit because we was competing with a No
was
Limit.
I had
with
no
No
clue.
Limit.
I had no clue.
And
Limit
it
was
was
dropping them.
money to be made
Yeah,
at that
right,
time.
right.
Around that time, P
No
was dropping the
bootleg.
artists
Yeah,
like
every month.
Every month, like you know what I mean.
This is crazy because we're in the same circle. I had no clue that y'all were dropping them. I mean, I knew the albums.
Right.
But not
Or maybe
looking
I
at
just
the-
wasn't
But I'm gonna
conscious
tell you
enough.
why you
But-
wasn't conscious enough, because you was getting hit with other artists that you didn't know we was even writing or doing it for. You just when you heard Fifth Wall Weebie, you like, damn, this Fifth Wall Weebie is hot.
But you ain't know
But you
him.
didn't
Yeah.
know that
Partners
Partners in
in Crime.
Crime actually just produced this.
I didn't know.
Right. Yeah, we was
Yeah.
producing.
So
We
we
even had
produced
Lil
it.
Slim over there.
We even
man.
had Lil Slim for a while.
Yeah, I got Lil Slim.
Right.
We was about to drop on
Holly Grove,
let
right?
the streets be the court.
Yeah.
So we had went and got him like right before
He moved to
California.
We didn't
you know?
get a chance to drop his album.
What happened with that whole situation was Southwest
Distribution.
Yeah, they folded.
they went out. They filed bankruptcy.
Right. They had a lot of
And
people.
we had a lot of money to
the thing
pick
about
up.
it
A
was-
lot of people.
We had a lot of money to pick up, but
I had a Black Ice album around that time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But during that era, man, we took all of those artists, we put them on our back, we ran with it because we felt like we were getting our feet wet in the music business because we always knew that we wanted our own label.
Right.
So when we had the opportunity to come in with SouthCoast and produce these artists, that gave us more confidence within ourselves
That we could do it.
That we were able to do it, especially when we did do we wrote the song "Shake It Like a Dog" for
Cain and Abel.
Cain and Abel
Right.
on their album.
And put Weebie
Man,
on it.
come on.
When
And
we
put Weebie on it.
When we wrote "Shake It Like a
What
Dog,"
club were we doing then? By Xavier.
Right. Rockefeller.
Rockefeller.
It was
Rhythm
before
City.
Rockefeller.
No, it was
Rhythm
Rhythm
City.
City.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's
when
when we met Yin Yang Twins.
Right. So when
that's
we
when we had
did that, and we were working on the Fifth Ward Weebie album, we had dropped Weebie right before I wrote the song "Shake It Like a Dog" with Cain and Abel. So we were thinking, how could we catapult our artists and get them to the next level? So we said, okay, we're writing this song for Cain and Abel, "Shake It Like a Dog." Let's throw Weebie on it so that we can get Weebie on the video. Cain and Abel and them going to promote it out the roof.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we're
Right.
going
And
to
we're gonna have
and
another
then we're gonna
artist
have
that's-
another
that's-
artist
And the
that's
remake,
made.
the remake
Yeah.
for Mystical came later.
Yeah, so
I still like the original version better. I'll
Yeah,
say
of
that.
course.
I like the mystical version too, but in the club, the first version not
first
better
version,
to
Right.
me.
Right. That was the original. Right.
I
So-
still stick by that. I love Mike, my man.
Right.
But
So will y'all take now? I know you're pushing these artists out. You're producing. You're writing. Was Partners in Crime taking some time off?
no, it
No,
wasn't. We
never.
had no time
We
off
never
at that
took
time.
time
Y'all
off.
was still putting out your
We
own
were still
music.
putting out
Yeah,
our
we was
own
working
music and
on
still working on
We Be
more stuff.
Hounding and
we was
all
working on
kinds
the
of
We Be
stuff.
Hounding
what
album.
were the albums that you guys put out on South Coast as partners in crime, not as contributors to everybody else? How many
Partners in
albums did
Crime?
you put out on?
We just put one album out on South Coast.
No, we didn't.
We did.
We put out.
Oh no, we did
At
two.
least
We
two,
did
huh?
two.
We did two.
We did the We Be Hounding and we did the one with the
World Premiere.
No,
We did World Premiere.
Yeah, we
on
did
that
World
too.
Premiere. We Be Hounding.
We Be Hounding.
This
And,
is what's known as a good problem.
And then the one that we're standing, the one we're standing on.
This is a good problem.
What you want to do?
Right.
What you want to do?
What you
We
want to
did
do?
three
We did
albums.
three
We did
albums
three
on
albums.
South Coast.
Y'all can't see this. Y'all can hear it though.
Yeah,
But
they
if
can't
y'all
see.
can see this, they looking at each other.
It was three albums. Like,
Right,
you know,
they looking
Yeah.
at each other like, man, we don't put out so much music.
Yeah.
But what the hell was the album?
Now, who were all of the artists that came out on South
South
Coast?
Coast. Who was
what?
So all of the roster of
Oh, okay.
artists. So you
Yeah,
said
Drama
Weebie.
Squad. You had Fifth Ward
Weebie,
Weebie.
Miss
You had
T.
Miss T. You had
Partners in Crime.
Partners in Crime. You had South Coast Shorty.
South Coast Show.
She was from Holly Grove. We did a little bounce
We
song
hooked
on
that
her.
up right
What
fast.
song was that?
Yeah.
That was.
She didn't really pop off.
Yeah,
I
she-
remember.
It was
but
like
it was
a-
a bounce song. I forgot. I think the name of it was Twerk or something.
Yeah,
something.
but we
had him,
we put together
and
something
we
like
had
quick with that.
Master Smoke.
We're gonna get our
Where my baby daddy at? Your baby daddy at?
Where my baby daddy at? Yeah, we had Master Smoke, right?
Where your baby daddy at?
We did a bunch of stuff together. We did buku shows together.
Yeah.
Right, so you know how
And
Smoke is.
So
Yeah.
we actually put that
Smoke
song out.
was
South Coast
crazy.
dropped that. Yeah, Smoke
We was working
crazy.
with Trey too. We was working on
Trey
even
dropped the
putting up-
album. Trey dropped the album
Yeah,
with us.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep, Trey dropped
We
the
got
album with us.
our crack research staff working on that South Coast Shorty bit for us. Give us a second.
South Coast Shorties.
Yeah, she had a nice project though.
She had a nice
We
project,
shared
man.
some.
What-
shared some
what
stuff.
was it
We
named?
working
Hot
with
Girl
her.
by any
Hot
chance?
Girl, yeah, that was the name of it.
We got a
Right.
crack research staff here, man. You know, we employ nothing but the
There you
best.
go.
Right,
There you
right.
go.
Yeah, I can't remember everything.
What happened with South Coast?
Well, South Coast folded once that
Southwest went down.
The
went
distribution.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we had a lot of put a
Tied up
lot of
a lot of
eggs
money, yeah.
tied up in that. You know, and a lot of artists started feeling like when they went bankrupt, a lot of artists was like, "Where my money at?" And we was like, "Look, bro, we getting a check from Gonzalez."
Well, first of all, let me go back on that. Before Southwest even folded, we had did the Cain and Abel thing.
Right.
With Cain and Abel, the Shake It Like a Dog song.
Right.
But after the Shake It Like a Dog song, we got a call from Cain and Abel, and they said that
Weebie.
they was like, say, bro, did y'all tell Weebie he could come sign with us? And we was like, well, we don't know what you're talking about. So Cain and Abel came down to New Orleans and they sat down with us and it was like, look, we were saying he wants to come with us. We know y'all just dumped a shitload of money into him. They didn't put him on a Shake It Like a Dog song, but he wants to come with us and roll with us.
When you say come with them, where were they?
They had their own label. They were in Baton Rouge.
Most Wanted. They had Most Wanted Records, and it was in Baton Rouge.
Weebie wanted to go with Cain and Abel them because he felt like they would have did more for his career. Give him a better opportunity at that time. So that's when we let Fifth Ward Weebie go. We told him if you wanted to go there, you go ahead. You know what I mean?
How does that operate?
I mean, we could have kept him on contract because he was contract signed, but like I said,
we didn't do that.
We didn't do. At the end of the day,
it
was
operates
like,
pretty much as what you want. Like I mean, we could have
kept it on contract and negotiated something else, but. Like I said, at the end of the day, you don't really want to be there. Go ahead and move on.
And then we wasn't worried about it anyway because, I mean, God honest truth, we wrote 80% of the album.
Right. So, and we were still artists. Yeah, we were still artists ourselves. So, you know.
So we felt like, you know what, if that's where you want to go, if you feel like that's better than you, then
just go ahead.
So Cain and Abel had that much steam?
Well, no, they didn't. They didn't have the steam.
The Shake It Like a Dog song was doing great for him.
Was on fire.
Yeah, it was doing great for him.
That's a big record.
And it was a good compliment to have Weebie follow up off of that.
Yeah, because now we didn't put Weebie on there, but we put Weebie on there because we were about to drop another album to make him bigger.
Right.
But they felt like in the end, since he wants to come with us, we could take that steam and run with it as well.
So you guys were partners with this distribution company?
Yeah, with Southwest.
With Southwest.
Yeah.
I mean, they
did distribution.
They were distributors.
Southwest distributed everybody.
Right. See why I'm asking that is because people that's listening don't understand that the distributor and the record company are two separate entities.
It's two separate.
So let's give them a quick 101 for those that may not know. Right. But the record companies are independent of the distributors.
Right.
There you go.
And so this is kind of a antiquated system because now with streaming and all this other stuff is a little bit different.
Right.
But these companies would get their music and they would receive a cut.
Right.
To get it out into all the mom and pop stores and or the bigger stores.
Right.
For their legwork.
Right.
And then they would cut them a check back and hopefully there were no returns or anything like that.
You had to keep a little money aside for reserve.
In so many words, although we are the independent music company, when we get our product pressed up,
they created it.
Southwest,
they distributed it.
Yeah, Southwest would get it and they would distribute it to everywhere. So if there's a store in Atlanta that wanted it, they would order from Southwest. What we used, what distributors used to do back then, they used to send out one sheets to all record stores all over the world, everywhere that they service, to let them know, Partners in Crime is coming. They gave you a description, and it also had a barcode on there.
The one sheet had the barcode, the description, some highlights and stats, and a cover, a copy of the cover to see what it looked like.
Right.
Then that's how they made their orders.
Yeah,
so then they'll call Southwest and say, okay, I need to order
so many
500 copies.
Later that became EPKs, which they started to send out digitally.
Right.
So now that they're debunked, they're out. Right. What do we do?
The internet.
No, what did you do?
What do you do?
Oh, what did we do? Oh, okay.
What do you
do?
So
after that, once Southwest folded and we stopped the SouthCoast thing, me and Mina said, let's do our own label. We did Crime Lab Entertainment, which is where we dropped the hard hitters.
Yeah, we dropped the compilation
with Successful 5, Soldier Slim, and a host of other artists.
Cool artists. Lil Wayne, Squad Up.
So the city still has more artists yet to be discovered, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they have a whole
Y'all
lot
just
more.
birthing them. Y'all just pumping them out.
Man.
Yeah, that's where we came with the Block Burners at, actually. Like the Block Burners was the first group.
The Block Burners, and they came straight off of your 9 o'clock props.
Yeah, they was one of the first groups that actually... that we put out because we was working with the Choppers, the Jubilees and things like that, and people started saying that the word in the street was Partners in Crime, like work with people that's already hot. I didn't like that. So at the end of the day, I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna take an artist from scratch and show them that this is really a gift at what we do. We know how to pick them, bill them, and put them out. You know what I'm saying? So Blaze was calling me on the phone when I was at SouthCoast, but he just wasn't ready at the time. He was soft spoken.
They used to be killing the 9 o'clock.
They was killing the props, but he wasn't ready as an artist. There's a little bit more to an artist besides just rapping. You got to be able to do a lot of other things that come with it, and they just wasn't ready yet. So when we left SouthCoast, it was like, you know what, Blaze? I think y'all gonna be y'all gonna fit what we trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So let me put y'all on and let's work. So I worked on a project with them and actually put together a project for them. Kango wrote the hook, and I say, look, instead of you singing the hook, Kango, let's put the new hottest artist on it, which was Magnolia Chop. So we put Magnolia Chop on the song.
Ladies, come on and work that thing, mama. You can work that thing. If your old man tripping,
This is a testament.
Hey, this is a Chop for that.
Man, this is a testament to the abundance of talent we have here in the city.
Oh yeah, man.
You know, I mean,
but I'm gonna put this out there and this may not be a popular statement. I really don't care. I don't give a fuck.
well, first before you say that, this is the Unchained podcast.
Yeah, so I don't really care. But like, there's so much talent here, but in this particular era, there's so little guidance.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
And there are a lot of artists doing, amazing music.
Right.
But they don't have like mentors.
They don't have a partners in
like
crime.
guiding them.
Well, a lot of them don't like to listen, bro.
They don't have a partners in crime to
They
grab
don't
them.
have no managers out there that are real managers
Right,
like that
right.
are going to promoters or radio stations or record companies and saying, this guy's amazing. You have to listen.
Right.
A lot of
and keep knocking on that door.
Yeah.
They don't have none of that.
They don't.
And it's a lot of the now artists that are just like, you know what? I can do this by
music.
myself.
I'm hot.
I watch them on YouTube and I watch them on this. But there's like really, really talented young artists out here right now.
And
Man, I'm always
They need
amazed.
guidance.
But there's so little guidance right
People
now.
wonder, and this is a perfect example of what you're saying.
You telling me like, man, y'all did this artist. Like, I didn't even know that you guys were like. I knew I'm booking partners in crime. I need y'all to come for an interview. I need y'all to ride this show. I didn't know y'all was doing all of that behind. Y'all was very instrumental in a lot of the structure and the architecture of New Orleans hip hop music. I didn't even know that.
And it's still to this day, when you think about it, you know, a lot of artists, when Jay Jones first came out.
Shout out to Jay.
A lot of people was looking like, well, okay, they had artists that came out around that same time. But the guidance that Jay Jones had. When Jay Jones first came and said that he wanted to rap, and he told his dad.
Y'all were part of that guidance too?
Yeah. We
Well, save that part. We're doing the timeline.
BTY Young and all that.
Okay, we'll bring it back.
Andre Perkins, all that.
South Coast folded, Crime Lab came.
Crime Lab started, and when we started,
Block Burners.
Well, let me break that story down.
Give me the
Well,
Block Burners story.
The Block Burners, we put together an album with them, but at the time we were signed to UTP Records. You know,
With Juvenile.
Juvenile had signed us. You know, the story with Juvenile was Juvenile came to us in a club, him and Corey, and they was like, "Look, bro, I like what y'all doing. I'm gonna give you some money." That's what Juvie said.
Well, money's always good.
Juvie said, "I want to give you some money." So, you know, me and Kango talking about it.
He
Miss
never
T was
come
in
told me.
Listen, Miss T was in the mix of that too. Like, you know, like, yeah, talk to Miss T. So we was all talking about it. I was like, you know what? I think it'd be better if we go under his umbrella instead of just taking the money.
With
because
Crime Lab?
Not just with Crime Lab, just
go
going
up
to
under
UTP.
UTP name.
Let's just get our popularity.
Juvie was
thing
trying to give
popping.
us money for
to
us
do
to
our
put
own thing.
into our label to blow up.
Right.
Which was mad respect and mad love, because
Listen,
nobody's
listen,
gonna just come in
prior
here and
to
say, I'm
that-
gonna give you money.
Prior to that, when we was on South Coast, we had a song called Catch the Wall. We had went to
the Wall.
Juvenile. Yeah, we went to Juvenile. We was like, look, we want you to do a song. He was, at the time, he was still
Cash
locked up
Money.
with Cash Money. So he was like, Birdman ain't gonna really go for that. I'm like, cool. So the minute that he left,
Money.
say that he was leaving Cash Money, I was on his back. So me and Kango wound up
drove to
going.
Nashville.
We drove to Nashville. We drove everywhere. We went to Shreveport. We went everywhere that he
3
was
places
at.
with him.
We went to 3 places. We caught him in New Orleans. Went from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, maybe to Shreveport. Then we wound up in Nashville. We was just following him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we got out there with Juvenile, and we just kind of got him to do the song. He did the song, and he was like, look, bro, you know, when he saw us again in the club, I think it was Rockefeller at the time. He saw us in the club. He was like, listen, bro, you know, I want to give y'all some money because I like what y'all doing, like y'all hustle. I really want to back y'all up. I see y'all doing your own thing. I just want to help y'all out. So me and Kango talked about
Plus
it.
he knew what happened.
Yeah, plus he knew what happened. So at the end of the day, he was like, when me and Kango talked about it, I was like, look, bro, I think it'd be better we go under the umbrella of UTP because Juvenile is a multi-platinum artist. You know, he can give us the exposure we need besides just the money. The money, cool.
And then Wendy Day gave us that inside information too.
And Wendy Day, because I talked to Wendy Day on the phone.
Shout out Wendy Day.
Yeah, and Wendy Day was just telling me, y'all seem like some nice guys, y'all cool, but at the end of the day, New Orleans have like a name, a bad reputation.
Right.
People, you know, I did the thing with Baby, you know, Pete did his thing. At the end of the day, a lot of execs not really trying to do music, do business with New Orleans. I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, y'all seem nice, but it's just a bad time. Yeah. So she said, it's best that y'all maybe go under somebody, you know, if y'all can get on with somebody and then get y'all name.
Somebody that's already on.
And then just work from there.
So when Juvie offers us the opportunity, we took all that in mind and we was like, look, instead of, you know, taking the money from Juvenile, let's just go under him, under his imprint and blow, you know, try to blow from there.
So y'all kind of remained independent, but under his umbrella.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
We were still able to put out records however we wanted.
Was he helping y'all fund
out.
what y'all were doing?
He was helping us fund the album that we were doing with him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So in so many words, he took us under his umbrella.
Right.
And he said, okay, I'm going to put a Partners in Crime album out, but anything other business that y'all have, y'all can continue to do that.
So we had the block burners.
You know?
So at the end of the day, it was like with us being on the road with Juvie, I couldn't be in New Orleans to actually work the album. So who I go back to, which was Big Boy, because I know that Chuck puts money out when it comes down to artists that he believe in. So I had to go to Chuck and tell him, look, this like the new Partners in Crime. If you like what Partners in Crime
like
do,
that too.
Look, it's an opportunity for you to get the same thing if you invest in these guys. So I brought him, I brought him Hardhead, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Yeah. And he was starting his new Big Boy thing or whatever. He put the Block Burners on the radio. We had a song that stayed on the song for 6 months. That was the Tell Me Why song. It stayed on the countdown for 6 months at number 1. These guys come behind us and then they wind up putting a song out and it stayed on there for 8 months. 8 months, yep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that was my countdown.
Yeah. Right, yeah. that stayed on for 8 months.
But I was proud because them dudes came from the 9 o'clock props.
Right.
That was from the Hey You What's Your Name days, and they was always, let me tell you, mad respectful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they was good brothers.
I had them at a bazillion shows, and then they were doing their own thing as well. So I was always trying to reward the artists that were grinding.
Right. If you could talk to those brothers, they would tell you, man. My thing was like this. Listen, I said, y'all. That's when y'all was doing the live remotes. I was like, bro, attack every live remote.
They came to all of them.
Everything.
I was on them. I was like, go to every live remote. Make sure you let your presence be known as free promotion.
And they learned how to speak well. Come to the remote. I mean, they're not putting that on if y'all don't see it, right?
Yeah,
and then if you look at them today, they're both very, very successful.
They're doing good things.
You know what I mean? Doing real good things.
So Juvie helped you put the Block Burners out.
Well,
no, he didn't help us.
He didn't help you. Let me back up. I misspoke.
With
Partners in Crime.
While we were putting the Block Burners, you know.
So you got the Block Burners under your umbrella. Then what?
Well, the thing with this what happened with
were y'all writing some stuff for Juvenile? Like
no, we wasn't writing.
Well, we was doing hooks.
We did hook. Kango did hooks. I did a little management when Aubrey got sick.
Right.
Okay.
Real talk. You know, I did a little management. I booked some shows for Juvie.
That's actually where our writing careers started at with Juvie, because once we got on the road with Juvie and we was writing hooks,
and Katrina here,
that was mean people.
Like
when y'all did the beats and hooks thing,
that's when we was doing the beats and hooks.
I remember,
and around that time, that's when
that was the company. For people that don't know, that was the name of the company. Beats and Hooks.
That was another.
It was a publishing company.
Yeah, that's it. Beats and Hooks.
It was a publishing. Yeah, that's when Kango started.
So that's when we started Beats and Hooks, because as we traveled, we started getting more and more people that were saying, "Damn, that's fire!" And out of that's why I love Juvie to the day. He would actually sit there and tell him, "That's my dude."
He made them hooks, bro.
He made that hook, and they'll be like, "Who he?" And he's like, "Man, it's Kango." And he'll be like, "Kango, he'll come out there and they got a bag for you in there, boy. You better go in there and get that bag. You need a hook. Go hook the shit out of him in there. You heard me?"
Right.
So I go in the room, and sometimes I never knew who these people were. Like, you know what I mean? When I first hook up with them. I mean, I didn't know who Mike Caron was.
From Atlanta.
From Atlantic Records.
Right.
You know what I mean? Music group, Atlantic Music Group.
Mike Caron's very powerful player.
Senior vice, senior A&R.
So one day I find myself in a hotel with Mike Caron and Trey Songz.
On a writing session.
You know what I mean? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't know.
Hold up. Trey Songz. Now listen. I remember being on the bus.
This was before Trey even.
Trey wasn't even. Drew was like, man, they got a little youngster, bro.
Little boy from Virginia.
Yeah, he nice.
Do the Juvenile voice, bro.
He was on the bus with us for about 2 years. I mean, about some months.
He was just doing R&B mixtapes.
He was just running like
R&B
he was on the
mixtapes.
bus just running with us. I'm talking about he did a drop for us. Like you know,
From the
we
first
don't
time he met us,
Yeah.
from that first initial time we saw him in that hotel,
right.
till this day, I don't care where we go at and see Trey Songz.
What's up,
If
bro?
he see us and he look at it and is like, "What's up, Trey?" Trey will stop what he's doing and come dap us and be like, "What's up, dude? Long time no seen." You know what I mean? He's that.
He that kind of dude. Same
Same
with
way
me.
Buck, same way Buck was when he was with G
But
Unit.
when
Buck
we-
could see us anywhere. What's up with y'all PNC? You know, like just come holler. You know, we knew Buck before he got with the G Unit because he was signed to UTP. So he had a relationship with some of these kids.
We were sitting in writing sessions with Mike Karen. At that time, Mike Karen hadn't bought us on board. So, you know, every time he had a session, he'll be like, you know, I want to fly you out to Atlanta. You know, and sometimes Fiend used to be in these sessions.
Fiend was a great writer.
Because he was writing, right? So
That's my other little brother.
after that, one day we go to Miami, and we're in Circle House Studios. And you know that's where T-Pain, Cool and Dre, everybody, all of Miami's big stars was
Ross,
recording
Trey,
there.
Trina.
Yeah.
all of
So
them
I
was
go
there.
in there one day, and of course I got my company Beats and Hooks. So the owner of this label, he's sitting in there. I don't know who he was. His name was Castro. You know what I'm saying? So I go in the room, and Juvie's like, my dude got Beats and Hooks. So he's like, I'd like to hear a couple of them. So I go in, I break out my CD, boom, I put it in. I had a song called Money Round Here. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bub with a couple of bad bitches all over me. 90 carats on my wrist like what? We getting money around here. And this one, auto-tune,
Just
like,
came and played.
first hit, not too many people was, you know what I mean, onto it.
Right.
But T-Pain was out.
I'm about to say
at the
that
time.
sounds like something
You know what I'm
else.
saying? So I play this song for him, and he just blow his shit. He's like, oh my fucking God. He's like, dude, you staying here in Miami. So I'm like, nah, I ain't staying here with you. So I'm like, Jew, we're going to get on this bus. We're going to talk the business to him. So dude like, oh no, you staying here in Miami.
He start shelling out some bread.
He start shelling out
Secure the
some
bag.
bread. Like, you know what I mean? So at that time, that's when I landed my first
placement.
And my first placement was with T-Pain.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they took that song and they were like, look, we want T-Pain to sing the hook versus you singing it. Of course, because T-Pain is way more popular than you. Of course, you're an up-and-coming kid. You got this great sound, but we want T-Pain to, you know, sing the song.
Right.
So that's where my first placement came in.
Now before we went out there and actually did, I mean, well, we did that. But
We was doing the song
We
for
was
the Love
doing
Dead
no.
Rise
We was
in
in
Atlanta.
we was in the venue. You know, and we had this company that offered us opportunity called AQP, right?
With Tyson.
With Tyson, yeah.
That's another quick production,
Yeah,
right?
another quick
So I was there from jump. You know, I was,
Right.
So we had just
Rest
left.
in peace
we
to
had
Tyson
we had
as
just
well.
left Juvenile's label. We just come back from career or whatever, and Juvie was just more like, I'm not doing it no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just go back to being like
Juvie.
Juvie.
Yeah, he
you
had
know?
to take a rest from
he
the
had to take a
UTP,
rest
the
from
label, the
UTP.
whole label thing.
Right.
You know?
So we wound up coming back home or whatever, and J-Dog was actually working in the studio with Tyson, and he was like, look, that's my dudes. Like, let them come over here. So we wound up coming over to AQP, started working with them. We wasn't really signed to them, but we was just doing business with them, right?
Right.
So that's where that's where C Smith came into the play again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we had
brought
already
him
knew
into
C
play.
Smith from SouthCoast, but he went to the service. Then he comes
But
home.
Juvie was still in the building recording with us because he had a
Well,
room
well,
next door.
Juvie wound up coming in the
wound up
building at
coming
the
in.
time
Well,
because we was already in the building, and then Juvie came into the building
And got a room right next
and got a
door.
room
to
like.
us.
Let me slide in here. You said J-Dog. J-Dog is from
J-Dog
Black
is from
Menace.
Black Menace.
That was on
Big Boy.
Big
Records.
boy,
Boy
right?
Records, okay.
So
But we had a relationship with J-Dog from Neighborhood.
yeah,
Our
I grew
relationship
up with
didn't
him in
come from
Holly
Big
Grove.
Boy.
Yeah, I knew him
Right.
since. You know, I grew up in Holly Grove. That was my big brothers.
I
you
just
know?
wanted to tie in the Black Menace thing.
Yeah, the
because
Black Menace.
Menace don't get their props
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
they
it was
get their
awesome,
man
right?
props, man.
So,
Awesome.
so they, you know, J-Dog was already working over there. He was like, "Look, bro, I need you know, won't y'all come over here and work with us?" Like, okay, cool. We come over there, start working with him. Then Juvie calls and say, "Look, bro, I'm coming back to home. You know, this is all after Katrina." So we was like, "Look, Juvie, won't you come you know, get a spot, you know, where we at. We got a lot of room for you. So Juvie come, which we knew that
And
Juvie.
they got a club, and they got some money
Yeah,
circulating.
got club.
there.
It's just a lot of stuff.
We had a bunch going on.
It's
Some
a
money
lot of stuff that
circulating
can
around
go on
there.
right here, right? So we met C Smith at the time, and you know, with us being off the label with Juvie, like you know, we was free to do our own thing. We come up with the song "So Attractive," and C Smith actually produced the "So Attractive" song.
I remember when y'all sent me that record. It took one listen.
Right.
Yeah,
to
it was,
know
it was
that
dope.
that was
Some people thought it was T-Pain. It was dope.
It
was
took
dope.
one listen. I was like,
Oh, this is
bruh,
it.
y'all got one.
Right.
Lord, y'all got one.
It's
Like
it.
immediately. Like
Dude.
some records, like just as a DJ, you get a lot of music. Just FYI. And sometimes you gotta listen to a record a couple of times. Well, maybe women will like this one, or maybe, guys will like this one, or maybe teeny bobbers will like
From
this
the
one.
jump, you knew.
Yeah.
This is
One
everybody. This is
listen.
everybody.
And I had done an interview with NPR around that time. And I was like, this is the record that is going to be the snapshot of New Orleans music. I said this on the interview because
You were right.
in order for bounce to keep moving,
You gotta go to
it's going to
elevate,
have
right.
to
Elevate, right.
have an elevation, right?
Right.
So it's going to have some tracks that are not just Trigger Man. Because before it was only Trigger Man Brown Beat.
Right.
Everything was just a variation on that. And I also was saying that it's going to have some rap going on.
Right.
Right.
And I was
You
like,
so
that's the...
pretty, you so fine.
Right.
I'm
See-
so on you, you so
And
fine.
sure enough, bam.
Right.
What did
And y'all shot the video there, too.
Yeah,
we shot the video
Yeah, we
there.
did everything at the
But
video.
during that time when we did that song and it hit, that's when we got the call from Mouse in Baton Rouge.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, look, dude, I got this track I've been working on. And he's like, dude, I don't know what to put on it. But he said, I know this would sound good for Lil Boosie. Right?
Uh-huh.
So he sent me the Better Believe It track.
Oh.
And we was in the studio, and we wound up coming up with the "You Better Believe It, You Better Believe
Boosie and Young Jeezy.
Yeah,
I want to touch on something
Right
because
before Boosie went to jail.
yeah,
right?
it was right before Boosie went to
I want
jail.
to touch on something because the dude is near and dear to me. What did you say? C Smith
C. Smith.
produced that song
Yeah,
you were talking
So
about?
Attractive,
So
right.
Attractive. C.
Yeah.
Smith,
Yeah.
the guy that we work with on a
Right.
daily
Yeah,
basis.
yeah.
He's
C. Smith
on the
the guy
Wild
that's
Wayne
up in
on the track.
Unchained
The guy that's up in the control
podcast.
room right now.
Right.
He
right.
produced that song. So
Mr.
Attractive.
Do Everything.
Mr. Do
Yeah,
Everything.
he was
he
dope.
produced So Attractive himself.
It was only right that we worked with C. Smith because, like I said, before he went to the service, we had met the guy when we was at SouthCoast,
Right.
and he left. It was almost like he let us hear some tracks then, and we was like, dude, dope.
Dude, good.
But he
Then
was
he
gone.
left.
I saw him for Mardi Gras. He was home. I'm like, what's up, bro? We need to work. He was like, let's
come
get
back
together.
over.
Got his number.
Did So
Boom.
Attractive.
We go in the venue. Look, I got your boy number. Remember C. Smith? Yeah. Let me call him. C. Smith came over.
there we
We
go.
actually put him on a payroll. Asked him.
Yeah,
we had a
put him
couple
on
of.
payroll.
We had a couple of.
So he
artists on the
actually worked
payroll.
as an engineer in
Yeah,
our studio.
In the studio.
So how did the So Attractive record come together?
The So Attractive
It was-
record came together from
It's a beautiful
the,
record.
The
Just-
initial hook.
right.
We already knew that the auto-tune sound had just popped in.
Right.
And everybody was wondering how the hell T-Pain did it. You
It
know
was,
what I mean?
it was vocoder,
Yeah, it
which
was
later
vocoder.
became
auto-tune.
Right. So we had already had the ups on, how to do it. So I was a vocal artist as it was. So when that happened, all right, I was looking at that.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, we came in with the hook.
Uh-huh.
And we knew that we wanted the hook to be, tuned out.
Yeah.
So when we came up with the hook, we tuned it out first, and then we let it play over and over. And that's how C. Smith did the, what's your name, girl? Dun, dun, dun. I'm so attracted to the dun, 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 dun. So we was trying to figure out how could we make a fire beat in it, and at first we wasn't going the bounce way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because we was
original,
we was
like a
thinking
song
of
mode,
like
right?
a song, something out of the norm of what we would usually do. So when we came up with the strings and everything else with the and all of that in the song, we just had that, and we used to listen to it, playing it over and over with just the melody and just the words. What's your name, girl? Then we came up with the idea to bounce it out.
Right.
So around that time, the guy Blazer was
doing
really
his
he
thing,
was
right.
just starting
Blazer
to
on
come.
the track.
Blazer on
Yeah,
the
he
track,
was just
right.
starting to come into play. So we said, okay, we're gonna use this new kid, Blazer, put him on here and let's see what he got. So we took that and we sent it to Blazer, and when it came back, oh my God.
Yeah, we was like, oh, that's it.
You're like, okay.
Listen, I went to the casino, the Masquerade.
Yeah, I was doing Masquerade
And I
around that time.
I heard Captain Charles. He played it 2 times. I mean, he played it again. I was like, Kango. Look, I called Kango. I said, look, we got one.
He said, dude, Captain Charles.
I said, Captain Charles played it 2 times in a row. The crowd went
Notice
like,
he always call me and I'm in bed.
yeah, I be out. Kango, he younger than me, but he was like, old man. I'm like, Kango, boy, I just left out the Masquerade. I'm telling you, we got one. You know, he was like, for real? I'm like, yeah, bro, he played it back to back. I knew the science of it. I know when DJs gravitate to a song and how they spin it, it reminded me of like how they did Pump the Party, things of that nature in the beginning. So I was like, this one. We got one. So I came, told him, and you know, we just kind of like see it take his legs from there.
I really thought that So Attracted was gonna be a major national record.
Right, me too. They say it still sounded. They say
people still say we could drop it today.
They say it still had a local appeal.
Yeah.
Like a lot of we had deals, bro. In '94, we had a $3 million deal in 1994.
It was bounce. They said.
They said
In 94?
$3 million. No, not 94. 98.
98.
My bad. 98. Because I remember the date, November 1st, 1998. They called from Universal and said, we're not gonna be able to do the deal with you guys. You know
That was
what
through
I'm saying?
Atlantic. The same people that Cash Money had signed with, they were looking
That
at
was
us
Universal.
as well because.
Universal.
Well, you talking about the Universal
I'm talking about
deal?
Universal deal with Dino DeVelli.
Yeah.
That was in 98.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
No, you say Atlantic. I'm saying it's not Atlantic. It's
No,
Universal.
not Atlantic Universal. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Dino
Universal.
DeValier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dino
DeValier,
DeValier. When Cash Money was looked at, we were looked
Dino.
at as well.
It's Sylvia Rhone,
Sylvia
all
Rhone,
those
yeah.
people around
So
that time.
when
They was
Cash
look-
Money was being
Right.
looked at,
They was
for their
watching
deal,
us too.
They was watching us too because you have to know we were selling the same amount of copies.
Right.
Right.
But the thing about it is, around that time, Big Boy Records was actually about to break up, but Cash Money Records was still going strong.
Right.
So
right.
Cash Money wound up signing that deal. And when they signed that deal, then they came back at us as an independent artist because after doing their research, they found out that we were selling more copies on the label than anybody else.
Right.
So then they said, okay, we want to do a deal with Partners in Crime as well. So we're going to fly you guys out here to New York
Right.
and sit down and have this talk with you guys. So we fly out to New York.
Not me.
Well, he didn't make the flight. It was me and Rob Shaw. We fly to New York. We get the business together. Everything signed, sealed, and delivered. The first thing they asked us was, once you guys sign, can you go on tour with
Cash
the
Money.
guys from New Orleans? Y'all know Brian and,
And Slim
So-
and Ronald.
Yeah,
so
Ronald.
my first words was like, yeah, we'll go on tour with them. You know what I mean? Hell yeah. So they were like, okay, everything's going down. Lawyers are in contact with each other. Every day we're talking about paperwork. Okay, you guys need to sign this, need to get this over to us. So once I found out that the deal was going to be worth
$3 million.
$3 million, but it was, I think, $1 million up front, and then the rest was actually
Promotion.
into promotion.
promotion.
As far as the album, you know, what we needed
Promotions
to do.
and marketing.
Yeah, promotions and marketing.
He
you know?
calls me.
So at that time, when
There's a P&D deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, when that happened, I was like, okay, they're giving us $1 million up front. You know what I mean? This is just for us. So I'm happy as shit at the time.
He said, Kango called me and say, look, all the money you got in the bank, you can spend it. I said,
I said, how much you got in the bank? Go spend it.
Go spend all that
I
money
said,
in the
it's about to
bank.
go down. You know what I mean?
He said,
So-
because we call yourself a millionaire.
Actually, I called you off the airplane.
Right. I was
I
like,
balled out. You know, around that time, you had to have a card and swipe. So I
said,
balled
I'm
out.
swipe,
You know what I mean?
swipe.
So I was like, call yourself $1 million player, right?
yeah, $1 million
So
player. What he said.
during that time, we were supposed to sign the deal. We were supposed to go on the road with Cash Money Records. So I'd say about 3 weeks into that deal, we get the call from Dino, which he remembers the exact
November
date.
1st. November the 1st.
Yeah, and Dino,
1998.
yeah, so Dino was like, "Look, bro," he's like, I feel sad to say this, bro, but he's like, it's not gonna go down. So we're like, "What's the deal? What's the holdup?" Like, and he's like, "Look, baby came in here and tore a fucking hole in the exec's ass, screaming, saying that you guys were this, you guys were that." He didn't want to be on the road with you guys, that y'all it's going to be sabotaged.
Yeah,
They're trying to sabotage Cash Money Records by signing y'all. So I'm like, well, goddamn. I mean, we could talk to Baby about this. This shit that's like, you know, our old shit that we went through.
Water
like,
under the bridge.
We're going on to another level now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So Dino was like, nah. He already said, if y'all sign him, I'm pulling my whole roster from Universal because it's a conflict of interest. They said, Baby made them sit down and listen to all of our prior stuff where we was dissing, you know, Cash Money and things like that, which I don't have no problem with. Hey, I mean,
because of the UNLV stuff.
Yeah,
the
it was
UNLV
what it was.
stuff.
It was what it
But
was. Right.
UNLV was no longer on his label
Right.
once he signed. You know
They weren't
what I mean? That
Well, they
deal.
weren't even really a group hardly because Yellow
Right.
was dead by
Yeah,
then.
Yellow was dead.
Right. And this was what was told to us. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So during that time when that happened, that killed our whole deal. We were supposed to go on the road with Cash Money. So the next person,
You know who was in the spot? Nelly.
Nelly the spot.
Nelly took that spot.
Yeah.
And Nelly, that same spot that Nelly took, he went 12 million. He sold 12 million records. Went diamond.
Country Grammar.
Country Grammar.
Right.
So,
but no. Listen to this. Let me go back to this.
Oh man.
Let me go back to this. Right.
Wow.
This is where the vibes collapse.
You been told me this,
right?
Wayne. You
so,
told
I'm
me.
gonna tell you.
So look,
I know what you
we're
about to say.
signing. We're signing. Remember
I know
this.
what you about to say.
We're about to. We were. This is how far this goes back. Remember, we were going to sign a deal with Upper Level with the Rap A Lot thing, right?
Yeah.
During the time of us signing that deal, we get a call from St. Louis to come rap in St. Louis underneath the arch.
Right. Key of the city, bro.
They gave us the key to the city
Key to the city.
of St.
And
Louis.
y'all were with Upper Level?
It was the
upper.
upper
Yeah,
level.
yeah,
This
right,
was
right,
before
right.
we
Us
even
and the
got the
Ghetto
deal.
Twins.
This
Us
is
and the
before
Ghetto
they even
Twins.
called for the deal. Us and the Ghetto Twins, right? So they give us the key to St. Louis. So anyway, after all of this happens, they said
to the city?
yeah,
we got
St.
the key to the
Louis.
city and St. Louis.
So we didn't get a chance to lock that deal in. The person that got that deal that we were supposed to have was Nelly. So then I began to listen to the styles, right? So you can say, you can find me in Jonathan Garner. You know what I mean? And then you come back, my name is Kango Slim. Sometimes I act a little crazy. That's because you used to have your own baby. Now you think you got your own old lady. Everything sounds the same.
I asked
You
him
told me
question.
that. You've been told me
You
that.
did?
So
Right,
like,
yeah, he's been
when
told me
Nelly
that.
came to New Orleans, right?
Right.
Me and Swab Bob did him at the warehouse,
Right.
on Earhart.
Right.
All he had was Country Grammar at that time. One song. And the St. Lunatics was, cheerleaders then.
Right.
Now, I had the warehouse on Bubble.
Right.
Right?
I was there.
Me, Glenn, Manny,
I was there.
Right.
Money
Yeah,
Fresh on the ones and twos.
We was there.
We was doing
Hold tight.
Fat Foam Fridays.
Right.
And we had just done
Time out.
Jim Crow. We had
Time
just
out.
done Jada Kiss.
Time
We-
out.
Sean got something to say.
Time out.
What happened?
There's no Kango without Mina. There's no P without C. You gonna give me mine.
Right.
It was
You gonna give me mine at this table. You ain't just about to shoot over my head.
Wild
He
Wayne.
said Wild Wayne
and
had.
Sean.
I ain't had
the
nothing.
warehouse back then. The Wolfpack.
Right.
Give me me.
Speech.
Give me me. All right, continue. Now I will say this: Wayne was and has been the mastermind behind the majority of things that Wolfpack does.
Yeah, I understand.
Continue.
Right.
Keep the party going.
So we had done all of this big promotion on Country Grammar. It was new, but I was like, man, people on it. People in New Orleans were not on Country Grammar yet. I had jumped the gun on it.
Right.
Swab said, we're going to get a truck bed and put him on the back of the truck bed with some hay and ride up and down the lakefront to try and get some buzz on this. Because Nelly was, a little heartthrob or whatever off the MTV, BET.
Yeah,
and I think the box, the end of the box or
women
whatever.
loved him, right? The women loved him, right?
And that was the only way we could get to go. And Swab had a pool at his house. We did a pool party just to get people buzzing about it. And I did an interview with him. And I was like, man, this Country Grammar's blowing up. That's dope. You got the muscle cars in here. And the video, woo. I said, but that sing-song rap,
sound familiar.
that's like Partners in Crime.
right.
Like that's Kango Slim.
Right. Vibe. Right.
And this wasn't. This was the behind the scenes part. This wasn't on
Right.
the air in the interview. And he's like, we listen to a lot of Partners in Crime and New Orleans music.
Right.
It was
And I was
influence,
like,
right. You always told me that. You always told me that.
because you know he was like a little sports guy. He was a baseball player or something like
played
that.
Ball to football too, right?
Wow.
And
Cornell.
right. And I always felt like just another piece of the influence of
that's
it.
of New
Yeah,
Orleans
yeah.
music, but specifically
That's it.
Kango
Right.
and Partners in Crime.
Right.
And I never say that, a lot of people, they like to ask,
But-
do you feel like he stole your style? I don't feel
I
like
don't
he
say
said
stole-
he stole
he
the style.
borrowed.
Yeah.
He borrowed.
Pilfered.
It was just
Yeah.
something he liked.
Right.
Right.
Even if he didn't, the similarities of it was so close to where it's like, questionable.
Yeah. But
Hell
I
with
didn't
that.
know the universal part of all of that.
Yeah, we had
all
already got
of
the
this
key- we had got the-
orchestration
right.
behind
We
the
had got the key
scenes
to
for
the
him to
city.
have
To have the
leapfrogged
success.
y'all and kind of emulated y'all
Right.
to take that
Right.
same space. My
That's what
God.
happened,
crazy,
bro.
huh?
They took it from us and they gave the space to Nelly.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Golly.
I didn't know.
Right.
Well,
Wayne is
that's-
telling
that's
me
why we
something
doing
that
this-
I didn't
That's
know.
why we doing this podcast.
And we run
But
together
you know
all
what,
the
bro?
time.
This is one thing,
Let
and
the
this
truth
is
be
why.
told.
This is why I think we were able to have a longevity the way we have, because think about you being able to change your family and getting $1 million. Just think about you getting $1 million, and you know that you'll be able to make a change for your family, your kids, and things like that. And someone can just come along and just say, "Hey, I'm gonna take that away from him," behind stupidity or whatever it is, right? So we had to battle with ourselves on a lot of levels. You got the devil on this shoulder,
Right.
and you have the angel on this shoulder, right? We chose to wear the fucking angel.
Right. Real
No matter
talk.
how much we cried, you know what I mean? No matter
But
how
that was
much we
hurtful, bro.
cried.
Did you go spend all that
And
money in
how
your
many
bank?
No, I didn't
times-
spend nothing because
How many times,
I
no
understood
matter
it.
how many times we cried, because I can tell you now, we cried.
Right.
It was
hard.
We felt like it was hard
hurtful,
for us.
bro.
You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
hurtful for us.
Y'all ever talk to Baby again?
I talked to
We
Baby.
talked to him, but
I
never
talked
talked to him about
not
that
about
situation.
that, but I just talked to
Not
Baby
at
as
all.
a man, not
Yeah.
about
Not about that situation.
the situation on why. Like
Right.
I went. Listen, that same day that Dino came to New Orleans, Turk was shooting a video in on a wharf. I think it's In Me, La Wardy, or whatever he had a little
That's
song
what
up.
it was his first,
I told
single.
Dino that day, like, cause I was letting Rob talk, but then Rob was, Rob kind of soft spoken.
He
I was
was
like, listen, bro.
diplomatic.
Yeah, I walked in. I was like, listen, bro. That problem is not that real. I'm about to show you right now. He said, yeah, I'm going to Cash Money video. Well, let me come with you.
We went.
We went out there.
That's actually when we went to do the. We also asked for the Juvie song around. that time.
Yeah. But I didn't even ask for the Juvie song. I went past Juvie because Juvie was kind of like
Right.
saying Baby wasn't
we
going to do it.
asked him for
I
it
said,
first.
Baby, you do it. He said, yeah, I'll do it. I said, I want you and Man and Fresh on it because I felt like if I can get the big dogs on it,
Right.
the Indians going to follow from that point.
But that's what Dino really realized.
Yeah, he saw that.
beef wasn't that serious.
It wasn't that
if you
serious
still-
because Baby came to
You
me
know what I
and
mean?
talked to me around all his goons. I went out there. They was shooting a video. Walked to him. He was on the wharf. He had to bend down on one knee to speak to me because the wharf was a little higher.
Right.
So he had to bend down. I walked up to him. I said, "What's up, bro?" I said, "Bro, like we having a problem. These people not trying to give us a deal because of blah 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 blah." I talked to Baby one on one, man to man. He was like, "No, Playboy, we can get that straight. Ain't no issue." Gave me his number. All right. When I come in town, we're gonna talk. We're gonna get this stuff straight.
We never.
Which never happened because when he came, I called him. He ain't answered. He answered one time. Yeah, I'm about to pull up at the House of Blues right now. I'm out there. I'm waiting to see him. I want to talk to him like a man. He
We
walked
never
in.
just put
Yeah,
it like
just
this.
handled the
We never
business.
had a chance to ever
Yeah,
talk
we
to
never
him
talked
about
to
that.
him about it.
Once
Right.
that happened and Dino said what he said, and then Nelly one moved on to that position, that was pretty much a done
was done deal, right? It was over.
It was nothing else that could be done from that point.
The bigger
So,
part, the bigger part
thing,
in us was like, listen, nobody can't stop what God got planned for us. That's what I used to always
That's what
tell
we used to go
Kango.
on.
I say, listen, what God got planned for us, nobody
It's
can
written.
take from us.
It's
So
written.
that's not our deal. Even though we felt like it was our deal, it's really not our deal because if it was our deal, we'd have got
would
the
have been
deal.
in it. So from that point on, we continued to push.
Right.
And that's when we really realized, like, how evil some people are and how they think and how people wish bad things upon you and how people, will take a situation and turn it, into something else and how, this crab in the bucket mentality really, really works. So with dealing with that, me, myself, I prayed on it, and I just decided to say, no matter how big you are, no matter how much money you got, I'm gonna show you that I'm gonna continue to be a staple of my city and what I stand
Listen,
for.
at the end of the day, Master P and Baby, right? Both of those guys come to us and they shake our hand as men. We might not have the millions that they have, but at the end of the day, they respect us as the men.
Right.
And that's bigger to me because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, like
We didn't sign with Pete, but Pete called us privately.
Yeah.
To California one time and shot
Not
Bass.
California. That was
Texas.
Houston.
That was Houston. Yeah, he
we
called
went to
us
Romeo
privately.
House.
He called us privately to Houston one time. Bought us outside and shot some hoops with
and
us.
talk real talk
and
with
just
us.
talk real talk with us. And at the end of the day, I mean, his talk was like, look, bro, I know we've been through some things in the past, you know, and he's like, man, you know, I don't have time for the bullshit, and I know y'all don't either. He's like, y'all here for a reason. You know what I mean? He said, I just want to commend y'all for not being ass kissers.
Yeah,
And he put it straight like that. And he said, I'm going to tell y'all like this, like men. He said, I'm looking at y'all in y'all face now, and he said, bro, I'm telling y'all, I respect the fuck out of y'all.
Right.
He said, y'all didn't sign with no limit because y'all had y'all own preferences and y'all stood up like men to be whatever y'all, you know, whatever y'all felt like, you know, y'all needed to stand on. Y'all stood on that, bro.
Wow.
And he said, until this day, I still respect y'all. I respect y'all music and everything that y'all do. And he says, hey, bro, I thank y'all for being out here in the studio with these artists because these artists actually look up to y'all that's in this studio. So he said, I want to start off by telling y'all that. And he said, I just want to shake y'all hand, bro, and let y'all know that I respect y'all, man, and I love everything that y'all do.
Wow.
Also, at the end of the day, here's this cash I owe you.
Yeah, we got that money on us. And look, even with Baby, bro, Baby be, you know, I see Baby. Look,
Baby be Baby.
We saw Slim, right?
Baby be Baby.
We saw Slim. Slim was like, man, what's up? I'm like, what's up, Slim? He was like, bro, listen, I respect y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking like, that's all it's about, bro. Like, as a man. At the end of the day,
that's it.
At the end of the day, you respect me as a man. You talk to me like, you talk to anybody else,
right?
And they know the difference. They know that we ain't like the other ones. You know what I'm saying? They know we ain't sell out to actually get on. At the end of the day,
I could be mad at Baby, then I can't be mad at Baby because I'm gonna tell you this.
I ain't mad at
him. He had just signed his deal, right?
He's protecting.
He's protecting. Yeah, he's protecting.
You know, it was a threat.
We could have been a threat to what he did, but we weren't trying to be a threat to what he did.
Yeah, we wasn't trying to be, but
it was actually time for New Orleans to rise, and
unite.
we felt like, you know what, we're about to rise, unite, go get this money and bring it back to the city.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Everybody looks at those things differently.
Right.
So after that, wow, that's an amazing story.
So we did part 3.
And
that's what you're thinking about. How we gonna need a part 3?
we got a few minutes.
And then so attracted, and then the last piece, I think, is the evolution of Partners in Crime. Right. So this story is amazing. First of all, the things that you've done and accomplished.
Right.
And music has changed drastically from when you guys first started.
Hell yeah, you got to think about it. Look, we're doing a lot. We started doing a lot of shows with a lot of people like Trombone Shorty.
Well, that's what I was getting to. Now you have a band, another piece after So Attracted.
Right.
I think maybe you sent me the record, this Footwork record.
Yeah, Footwork record.
Another record, the very first time I heard it.
Right.
And I told you, Brian, you got another one.
You know who produced that album, right?
Trombone Shorty and C Smith, right?
C Smith.
Right.
And Trombone
The
Shorty.
very first time I heard Footwork.
The guy that's up in the control room right now recording he produced that.
I don't know if you remember, I said, you about to have a yearly anthem.
Yeah, you told us
I
that.
said this.
Yeah, you told us that, right.
And it's one of my favorite Mardi Gras songs of all time. No knock against the Meters and Professor Longhair and all of these other great Mardi Gras records.
Footwork is your song.
Footwork
is your
song.
My head, my leg hurt.
Dude,
I don't care about footwork.
And that came about because once we had done So Attractive and all of these other things, people started to book us on gigs like, you know, with Trombone Shorty and things like that.
Well, you started doing more cultured events, maybe?
Yeah, more cultured and more festival.
And you needed
type event.
a different
band
swing
for that.
But me and Mina we were at a point in our lives where we were actually changing
Evolution.
as men.
Yeah, as men.
Evolving.
right.
We were evolving
Yeah,
as men.
Fathers,
So, fathers, but
husbands.
I did. This is where it all. I mean, just hit us. Troy booked us.
Troy's trombone shorty.
Troy's trombone shorty. He booked us in a showcase called Red Hot NOLA.
In New York.
Red Hot NOLA, New York.
In
right?
Brooklyn.
This was right after the Juvenile thing.
Was that BB King's? No.
No. This is the Brooklyn Music Academy.
Academy.
Yeah, Brooklyn Opera Music. Something. It's called BAM. It was called BAM.
BAM.
You know what I mean? So anyway, we get off the road with Juvie. Troy books us in this event to come along, you know, as one of the New Orleans entertainers.
he
So
had,
we had Dr. John. We had
Irma
Thomas, Kermit Ruffins, Ivan Neville, the
right.
Rebirth Brass Band, Trombone Shorty in Orleans Avenue, and Manny Fresh.
Right.
Okay.
So Manny Fresh and Partners in Crime was the two hottest hip hop artists that they brought to New York for this, right? So when we get to New York, it's like our lives did a change within that day.
A 360.
From the time we got to New York, we went to different stores and
Yeah, we shot
started
a
buying
video and
different
everything
things,
from
right?
that. Right.
He didn't buy a baseball cap. He bought this other type of what would you call it? Like a marine,
like
a marine hat or
Soldier,
something like a soldier hat or something like
sailor
that.
something
Something that
hat.
was a little bit more classy than just a
I
fitted
had
hat.
I had it on the last interview.
Yeah, he had it on the last interview. That blue hat.
That blue hat.
Yeah, he bought one of those hats in New York.
Peacoat.
Right?
Yeah, we
and
was
he
just
bought a
doing-
peacoat.
It was the evolution. It was
Yeah.
So look,
Yeah.
I get
Because
there.
you was cold or you was trying to...
I was cold, but the
But
peacoat,
he switched it
just
up.
was swag.
It
Right,
just was
right.
switch. It was a switch up time because we were performing with
On another scale.
Dr.
With
John.
a
and
different
we
group
didn't
of
wanna-
entertainers.
Yeah, we didn't really want to be, hip hopped out. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Fitted hat, baseball jersey. We didn't want to be that way. So anyway, I'm walking along the streets of New York and I see this hat, this hat that you
The
see.
apple cap.
No,
You know what I
that,
mean?
Right,
No,
yeah,
it's called
that hat, right.
Yeah.
That hat.
A Kango hat.
Yeah, well, actually,
Not even a
it's not a
Kango,
Kango.
right.
It's called a new hat. Now, these are the hats
Uh-huh.
that guys sell on the side of the street in New York. Like you could buy it for $5
In the garment district.
Yeah, you know
They're
what I mean.
everywhere.
Anywhere you are when you walk around New York, there's always a vendor that sells sweaters, scarves, or anything. You know what I mean. So anyway, I'm passing this thing and I see the hat and I say, "Hey, I like this one." I put it on. I actually walk across the street to a thrift store and I buy a blazer. So I put on my sweater, my blazer, and this hat, and we went to do the BAM show, which was 2 sold-out nights at this show, where we performed with Trombone Shorty playing and the band playing, and then at the end of the night, we did this finale with Dr. John on the pianos, and at the time, we was like, wow, we here with all of these greats. People are they view us in the
As a
same
great-
way.
As one of their
a great-
contemporaries.
as the great,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
As
a
one of their
great.
contemporaries. So
So instantly, not instantly, but instantly, you went from rappers to entertainers.
But we was always entertained.
We was
But-
always
but the
entertainers. but
transition,
I can
as
say
people
this, the
see you guys,
transition,
yeah.
as when
This
they
is
see you
where-
with the baseball cap, they see rapper.
Right.
But they see you with the sweater and they see you with the peacoat.
Right.
They're
Right.
thinking more
Yeah,
it's just
entertainment.
like
Multi-diverse,
it's the
diverse,
multi-diverse,
multi-diverse.
right. Yeah,
You
you,
know
got
what
the
I mean?
right word.
Flipping the switch?
multi-diverse.
Right, we flipped the switch. So from that day, we went to the Brooklyn Bridge
We shot a video that
and we
same
shot a
day.
video that same day called "Tell Me Where Do I Go From Here." Searching for fame.
Searching.
Searching was the name of the song.
Searching.
So we actually went to the Brooklyn Bridge and we shot a video.
Is it
in
out?
Brooklyn. Yeah, it's
I
out.
went
You
to
could
Manhattan.
put it out
yeah,
right
it's
now.
out. It's out. It's dope. It's dope.
It's out
Okay,
right
I'm
now. It's
going-
very,
I've
very
never
dope.
heard
We're going to push that one.
With us and our partner Paul Revere.
Paul Revere, right?
Paul Revere is Bobby
Shot his-
Marchand's
he's-
grandson.
He shot his
wow.
part in New Orleans.
Yeah, he shot his
we
part
shot
in New
our
Orleans,
part in New
and
York.
we shot ours in New York. So from that point of hitting that stage with the live band and seeing how those people reacted with
Yeah,
us
it was
performing
sellout
to
crowd.
a live
So,
band.
2 days in a row.
How did they react?
Oh,
Dude,
all-
they were
was
standing in
crazy,
the
bro.
on the floor. I mean, they was in the floor in the aisles dancing. And I'm like, dude, I've never did Pump the Party to a live band, but when we
Right.
did it with Shorty, dude, these people were out of their seats. I mean,
Right.
jamming.
Yeah.
And it gave us a different feel.
Right.
So when we left there that day,
We said, we
even
about to
he
do
said, man, that band was a different feeling. People react different to it.
Right.
So when we came home, we started searching to put a band together. So we did our first gig with this band called Big Rock Candy Mountain at South by Southwest.
Right.
I think I heard of them.
So we did that first gig with them in South by Southwest, and that's when we knew we had to make some type of change.
Was that the year we did the bounce thing up there at South by South?
Yeah,
It
y'all
probably
did. We
was.
didn't
It
take
did.
the
It was
picture.
something.
Remember, we
I
didn't
was
come
there.
take. We didn't come take
Yes,
the picture.
I was in Austin.
Right.
All right.
We didn't take the picture
We
that
did
time.
the
We missed the picture.
Correct.
take.
Y'all missed the photo shoot.
Right. And
Because
then we-
Magnolia Shorty, Frida, everybody else, Bakary Dude, all of them were.
Right.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it.
We did that, and after we did that, when we came back home, we said, okay, let's form our own band. And we formed, that's how we formed Partners
Big
in Crime
Easy.
and the Big
The
Easy
Big Easy
Band.
Band.
But we did that knowing, we didn't do it for the times that we was in because we were still really hot and relevant as hip-hop artists. We knew that the future was approaching.
Yeah, we
The
set
future
up-
was here.
Yeah, we set
the
up for
future
the
was
future,
here.
Right.
Right.
So at that time, we're looking like, okay, Mike, we're in our early 30s. We know we're going to have to perform with a live band as we go on in our future. You know what I mean? So let's start implementing this now. So every now and then we'll throw a show with a band, People started to catch on to it. And then
And y'all
people-
did Red Hot Nola?
Yeah,
Red Hot
well,
Nola, right.
Red-
That's Kango
listen to
Company.
this.
Kango
Let's
Listen
do
to
a
Company.
little
this.
series.
Listen to this.
Can't go out a
Listen to
company
this.
called Red Hot Nola.
Remember, the first show we did with Shorty was called Red Hot Nola, New York.
Right.
When I got back home, I started my company. And that was the first name of my company the name of my company is Red Hot Nola because that's when we made the transition.
And you were doing the spots off of Carrollton Uptown,
I was doing
right?
off of Carrollton. I
And
was
we
doing
did
One
what?
Eye
We did One Eye
Jacks.
Jack,
I was
yes.
doing
Yes.
everywhere.
Southport,
But-
something like that.
Southport
Southport Hall,
right.
everything. But the concept behind Red Hot Nola Productions was to bring hip hop and jazz together like they did in New York.
Correct.
Most people didn't book us on the same put us on the same stage. If they booked a Kermit and a Troy, they didn't book another
hip-hop
hip hop
artist.
artist
Because you
to
know
go
what?
with
Because
it.
people down here a lot of time not that advanced.
Right.
I hate to say that, but I mean, you could go back to the Guru Jazzmatazz projects,
Right,
where it was a
right.
fusion,
It was a fusion
of
of hip-hop and jazz,
and
right.
international music,
Right.
to create a beautiful piece.
So when we
why not do it here?
Right. So when we saw that, the idea was, you know what? Let's make them believe back at home. The
Right.
people that think this can't happen, let's do it. So I formed Red Hot Nola Production where I had Hot 8 Brass Band, Kermit Ruffins, and Partners in Crime and the Big Easy Band.
Right.
Right? It was an instant hit. Everybody, they showed up to the shows, they danced, they had fun, and we just kept it going from there, you know?
So where does Partners in Crime go from here? This story is an amazing story. Like, there were so many things that we learned during part one and now part two.
Right.
And this just further validates the fact to me that we got to keep doing these type of things to get these stories out, because ain't nobody never heard these stories before.
Right. And we still
Y'all
have a
been,
lot.
y'all been hiding these stories.
I'm your partner.
Y'all been
I've
holding
never
these
heard these
stories
stories.
on your chest.
Me, myself.
Where does Partners in Crime go now?
Me and
wanna
myself,
save that for part
we
three?
two individuals, right? So me myself, I love artists. So I'm working with artists. I do this platform called Slater Mike Artist Showcase.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Right. And what I do is I give artists an opportunity to actually come do their thing. I do poets, I do singers, I do rappers. And what I do is I let the crowd judge, because that's how we entered the game.
Right.
Off the Bobby Marchand Gong shows, where we actually did what we do.
Y'all brought it back
And
to the
people
Big
actually
Easy,
get to
huh?
show- Yeah. Before the Big Easy, but a part of the Big Easy as well. So what I do is I let artists do what they do, and I let the audience pick what they think is best, and
Go from there.
we go from
And you've been
there.
doing that Cafe Istanbul, by
I
the way.
do it at Cafe Istanbul.
So how often
Every
do you
month.
do that?
I do it once a month.
A particular day of the
I
week,
do
or day of the month?
I do I try to do every second Thursday of the month. So this month, if this come out in time, I'm doing December
13th.
No, not the 13th. December
Yeah,
14th.
No.
December
All right.
14th.
14th, yeah.
I
all
know
right.
my dates.
All
bro.
right. Yeah,
December 14th.
Yeah.
So if you hear this before the 14th, make sure y'all come out. If not, we doing January, February, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just follow me at Mr. Mina. That's M. That's what MRMEANA.
Some look at me just
That's his drink.
At MR_Mina.
But the thing is-
MRMEANA_PNC. And I promise you'll know what we're doing from here on out.
The bottom line is
The bottom
we're
line
both
is
pretty much doing
the
this.
bottom line is no more Martell for him.
Yeah, no more tell for him.
I know that day.
Man,
He's been reaching out, helping artists. You know what I mean?
mess with the artists, bro.
Yeah, he messed with the artists, and he's been helping out, trying to help them build an organic fan base for themselves. And I pretty much been doing the same thing, but on a different platform.
Right.
I've been working with more of the kids, the Noah Foundation thing, and you know, trying to get more involved in that side of things, on the political side of things. Can't say anything right now, but maybe in the next 2 to 3 years.
hold that thought.
Oh, the boy is Ghost.
no.
The boy is Ghost.
The one last thing we gotta touch on.
The boy is Ghost.
We gotta touch on.
If you know about power, the boy is Ghost.
I'm gonna keep him close to me. Before we wrap up, the last thing we gotta talk about is just the very pivotal piece that you guys put together last year, following the controversial no call in the Saints versus Rams. Was it NFC Division Championship?
That was about to be Super Bowl.
Right. Saints were headed to the Super Bowl. That happened. Sean really don't give a shit because he's a Cowboys
He's
fan.
a Dallas fan.
First off, let's
so-called
stop right
America's
here.
team, but they're not upholding the American standards.
Let's stop right there. Let
we're
me
not gonna
qualify
stop. I'm gonna
this
drown you out every
because
time you say something about them.
I
Because the
am-
Saints are here to stay. Saints are here to stay. You know, you and
Saints
DJ
are here to
Papa.
stay.
You and DJ Papa.
Saints are here
You
to
know what I
stay.
mean? We'll put a star on y'all seats.
I am a Cowboy
When y'all
fan,
sit
but I
down while
am
we in
a
the
New
Super Bowl.
Orleans fan first.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you.
Okay, first.
I am born and raised. I'm from Shrewsbury, but I am down hard New Orleans. So when we talk about sports, that's just a microcosm. That's just a mere 30 seconds of my day. Anything that I can do to promote the city of New Orleans is what I'm going to do.
That's what you're
Right.
here for.
Okay, so when you guys came up with the idea
To do boycott
of the boycott the bowl,
Right. Yeah,
I was
the
on board.
You
boycott
understood it,
bowl.
right?
See, boycott bowl.
I'm gonna get him off the hook because he was on the hook. But when we were kids, the Saints sucked. Let's put it out there.
They did.
Saints
They
were really bad.
said
So-
Mr. Miami Dolphin.
So I was a Dolphins fan,
Right.
right? Because they were the only team that ever had a perfect season. He was a Cowboys fan.
I'm still in.
Right? One of my other partners, I don't know why he was a Tampa Bay fan because they sucked.
Right.
And then one of my other partners,
Pittsburgh.
Mark G, who's a head baseball coach over at Warren Easton, he was a Steelers fan because it was Franco Harris and all of them people or whatever,
Right.
Terry Bradshaw, yada yada yada. But nonetheless, so we all picked those teams as youth,
Right.
But as an adult, we changed.
you
So I'm gonna get
changed.
you off the hook,
Right.
Thank you. You always got my
We
back.
did do the.
But
we did the.
so the call wasn't made. The refs sucked. They made the wrong call.
Right.
Saints get jacked out of a Super Bowl appearance.
Right.
No one in New Orleans was happy about this at
one was
all.
happy.
Saints should have scored when they was in the red zone 3
Man, I don't
times
wanna hear all
earlier.
that
Yeah,
foolishness.
see, you want.
I'm about to cut his mic
What he
off.
said?
I said the Saints should have scored the 3 times they was in the red zone
Whatever.
earlier.
Yeah, it's all good.
But
Yeah, good.
that I
It's
could
all
not.
right,
I
but
couldn't
good.
sleep that night. Mm-hmm. And I'm not that
Along
that
with
hard.
a bunch of us.
But I had wrote a post on Instagram from the dictionary, and it was a screenshot of boycott. The definition of boycott. We should boycott the NFL,
Right.
Based upon the fact that they didn't make the
did
call,
that, right.
And
The
I
thing
put it
is-
up. It got like 1,000 views. It was crazy. I went to sleep,
Right.
and I didn't think about it anymore.
Then you wake up and like Kango and them are doing boycott bowl.
What? A boycott bowl?
That was awesome.
It was, dude.
But
Brandon, to be honest with you,
it was just great minds think alike.
It was. It really was. It really was. It really was because actually Brandon put up a post right after too.
Who was Brandon?
But Brandon Rizzuto.
Okay.
So Brandon put up a post right afterwards, and he said we really have to do something about this, right? He said we need to boycott the NFL, or whatever, in his post. So when he put it up, I actually saw the post, but I say about 30 to 40 minutes afterwards, that's when Travis called me, Travis Larndine. And he said, man, did you see what Brandon put up? Because we're all mutual friends.
I wonder if Brandon saw what Wild Wayne put up.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Right.
I'll ask him. But Travis called me. He was like, man, did you see what Brandon put up? And I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, we really could do this. I think we can do it. So we only had 2 weeks time.
Wasn't much time at all.
Yeah, to do it, right? So when he said that, me, Travis, and Brandon, we went to the office. We all sat down. We brainstormed of things that we can do, right? So I had already picked Fulton Street for it to happen. I had already talked to, everyone that I had to talk to lock that in. So I had Fulton Street locked up already. You know what I mean? So Travis really was shooting for Champion Square.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Travis was shooting for Champion Square. But
I think they matter of fact, they put it out at first that it was going to be at Champion Square. Correct?
Well, we were in talks.
It got leaked.
We were in talks.
It leaked.
We were in talks to get it to Champion Square, but we wasn't like total.
Concrete.
It wasn't
Total.
completed.
It wasn't totally
Right.
concrete because we still had to raise the money.
Correct.
To make this happen, and we had 2 weeks to raise it. So what we did was Travis started the Show Sparker app to see how much momentum we would be able to gain. So when we did the Show Sparker app, we put it out there. We're doing Boycott Bowl. You know what I mean? More people started to get on the app and they started to donate. That's when we started putting the artists together and actually locking it down
It
to
was
Fulton
crazy.
Street and making it happen. Yeah.
So for those that do not know, so they put it together in a little bit less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And just did a mad media run to every potential outlet that was out there.
Right.
And got some very key artists to be a part of it to make sure that it was straight New Orleans.
Right.
And
we
the
raised
event had so many people there.
Thousands.
Now, I'll tell you like
Thousands.
this. I know y'all was salty because the radio station didn't get on board, but I don't think the station, I don't think a lot of people knew how big it was going to
Well,
be.
they
Because
didn't.
it
They
snowballed so quickly.
They didn't.
That weekend we had a second line.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Boycott Bowl. It was like
It
a
was
Mardi
three
Gras.
events that day.
Right.
It was
It was
three
like a
events.
Mardi Gras.
It was three boycott events, but our event was the main entertainment.
Right,
Now,
right. And at Fulton, I mean, it was
Around
the
Fulton.
whole, it was a sea of people.
Right, and then our event was actually being thrown for a cause.
Right.
Because
How
we
did-
looked at it like
Raise
this.
the money for Nord.
For all of those kids that play football at the Nord Parks, that look up to all of these Saints players and that watch these games every week.
And got
And
shorted.
give them inspiration, they got shorted. You know what I mean? Even us as fans got shorted.
Right,
So
right.
we decided to tag Nord F and Nord C onto the event, and all of the money that we raised from it, we gave 100% of it to
How
Nord.
much did you guys raise?
We raised 57,000
yeah.
and a couple of hundred, close to like 60,000. It was actually closer to 60,000.
Now, Nord, that's the New Orleans Recreation Department.
Yeah, New Orleans Recreation Department, and
That's
you
it.
have the New Orleans Recreation Department Foundation, and you have the commission.
Yeah.
So actually, we actually raised more than 60,000 because when you look at the expense of the event, we still had to pay that expense, and things like that.
Right.
So you could actually tag on another
20 grand, bro.
30, yeah, 25 to 30 grand onto that we raised. You know what I mean, on that day, and it all worked out. We gave it all to the kids. So me and Mina last month, we spent some of the funds from Boycott Bowl to throw the National All-Star Game in Joe
Right.
Brown Park in the new stadium.
Awesome.
Where we invited kids from Baton Rouge and surrounding Louisiana to come and compete
Right.
for the All-Star Game. So they actually got a chance to play the winning teams from Louisiana. You know what I mean? Kids from Baton Rouge, things like that. They all came together. And we were able to provide them all with sweatshirts.
Right.
Sweatshirts, Nord sweatshirts with the Boycott Bowl logo on the side, man. It was just a beautiful experience,
If you're on my Instagram, you saw me wearing it.
Yeah.
Well, let me just tell you this. None of that would have happened if you didn't jump out of that window.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I jumped out that window.
If you didn't jump out that window,
It was scary. I was looking like, hold up.
If you didn't go look for this guy,
If Dejan didn't put y'all together, right?
like
Right. Big shout out to Dejan.
it's just always amazing to.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have jumped
tie-
out that window and went to that
That
Atlantis.
club,
Club
And-
Atlantis in the
Atlantis,
East.
Yeah.
Mike
That would
and
be
Walter.
the
Yeah,
greatest
it wouldn't
crime
happen,
today.
right.
These kids wouldn't have had that.
Right.
It's just
And
amazing.
if Bobby Marchand wouldn't have saw us
And-
walking away in
Gave
that
us a
parking
shot.
lot and
Mike and-
said, come back.
Mike and Walter.
Mike and Walter.
If your
wouldn't be
mama would have
Kato and
shut
me.
down your show at the Big Easy,
Ain't no
Right.
telling what I'd be doing right now.
but you know what? everything happens as it's supposed to be, and I say this so frequently on this show, is that the story is written.
It is.
And it's our job to go ahead and control the narrative and get the story out there.
Yeah,
I want to thank you guys for stopping by the Wild Wayne Unchained podcast. Partners in crime.
Yeah, baby.
Amazing.
Let us know if you
Amazing.
need part 3, because we'll go to part 3 for
We
you.
gonna have a part 3.
Cause we got more.
It's season
We got more.
My head is smoking.
Yeah, we're not
We
finished.
got even more.
If folks want to follow your movement, what's your website? What's your social media handles?
I mean, the social media handle, if you're looking on Facebook, just go into Partners in Crime. We have a...
And that's an N in the middle, not an A and D.
That's just an N in the middle. Partners in Crime on Facebook, but if you're looking for us individually on Instagram or any social media sites, just look under Kango Slim, Kangoslim. That would be on Instagram or Facebook. And
I'm Misdemeanor, MRMEANA_PNC. And if you're on Facebook, it's just Misdemeanor, MRMEANA.
And there you have it. Thank you guys for stopping by, man. We control the narrative here. This was amazing today. This was amazing. And if you've heard the show, if you're listening right now, make sure and recommend it to your buddies so they can understand what's really
real
going
life,
on.
real life, real
With
life.
Partners in Crime with the NO flavor, the history of this music. Shout out to everybody that contributed today. Shout out to Martell. Shout out to Crazy Waffle Bar, my girl
it was
Sinedra.
good, baby. It was
It was
good. I
good.
like that waffle chicken sandwich.
I like the chicken.
But I see this sweet one right here with the.
I know you
was
all
like
on
that
the
Jack
shit.
Daniels, huh?
You all
the
on
little
the
Jack
shit.
Honey on it.
You like
I don't
everything.
eat after 6.
Nah, he need to eat that whole pan. He's going to see some reggae tonight.
No,
nah,
I'm
let's
going
get
to
to the
some reggae,
man.
boy, but I
Yeah,
ain't eating no more of this. I'm good. And shout out to C Smith, man.
Smith,
Super
100.
producer, 100.
Man,
My
special
dog, my brother.
Sergeant
special
Charlie.
thanks to Buck Jump Studios for allowing us to give
Jumbo
us
and
this platform.
Shorty. Much love.
And I got a whole bunch of real quick thank yous. Thank you to Trombone Shorty for getting y'all out there in New York.
Yes.
Shout out to Baby and shout out to
Yeah.
Master P
Shout
for
out
not
to
opening
everybody.
the door for
Yeah,
y'all
they made
because
us grind.
it
Right.
made
Shout
y'all
out.
work harder for what you
Shout
did.
out.
Shout out
Appreciate
to
you.
Bobby Marchand
Appreciate
for
you,
letting
brother.
y'all come and do those gong shows.
Appreciate
Shout
you,
out to
brother.
Rob Shaw. Shout out to
Shout out
Chuck.
Rob.
Shout out to
Chuck.
Size.
All of
Size.
those people that help build
Sporty T.
and make partners in
Right.
crime.
Hey,
Right.
man, we're forever indebted to every one of those people that you named because at some point they played a part in our career and made us the men who we are today. So
Right.
we thank you for
And
that.
I appreciate you all.
There you go.
There it is. Hey, man, we coming with another episode of Wild Wayne Unchained, the podcast very soon. Just keep us tuned in. Make sure to subscribe on whatever platform you listen to podcasts because you'll be getting alerts when we got new ones coming out. And that's a wrap, and we will be back.
Be back.
Thank you for listening to the Wild Wayne Unchained podcast. Make sure and follow us on social media at Wild Wayne Unchained. And for advertising or sponsorship opportunities, contact us at wildwayneunchained@gmail.com.